what's up everybody? Welcome to another weekly Wednesday live stream. I'm Peter.
And I'm Mike.
And we look a little bit different than we do other streams, and that's got everything to do with what you see on the table and behind me. There's
Especially
a lot of
behind
RGB going on. I mean, it's kind of well, I don't want to say Groundhog Day because it doesn't happen every day, but wasn't it us as well, like the very first stream about RGBing everything?
Yeah, I think it's like over 2 years ago.
I was going to say, that's been a while ago, right?
But yeah, RGB streams are such a challenge always.
Yeah, they are. Technically, and we always try to challenge ourselves as well, which doesn't always go well, but because, I mean, this thing you see behind me, you might think, well, you guys have a green screen, so you're going to, you guys probably...
Just keep your hand in front, they will see the challenge.
Here you go. This is real, and we had to pull some tricks, some new tricks actually, to try and, bring it out more so that, because there's a hell of a lot of light here, as you can imagine. So the light from the panels from the nano leaf behind me is normally kind of struggling to really show itself. So yeah, we had to boost like a separate layer of it, and that's what you're seeing basically. Like
we also had to make some camera adjustments, so we look slightly different today.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, we do it all for you guys. So I hope you guys like it. If not, then well, too bad. We had fun doing this, and probably
mostly
we'll be able
fun. A little bit.
Well, some of us had fun now. But we're gonna probably be able to use some of this knowledge that we learned with in the process of doing this in upcoming streams as well, because obviously we like to push the envelope, and who knows, maybe if we push up the hue and different layers enough, we'll get HDR content at some point. I don't know, because that's all about more vivid colors, right? Anyway, I'm just doing this because Eric told me not to. So sorry, Eric. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how you can see it's real, right? You can see the RGB. It's like RTX on my face.
So are you also getting 20 FPS faster if your hand is behind that?
Sorry, Mike?
Are you also getting 20 FPS faster when your hand is behind the RGB thing?
Yes, yeah, it's like... Exactly. Anyway.
So
nice background.
A lot of cool
part
content
of it is
today.
background, and part of it is real. So that's what we're trying to tell you guys. Anyway, because we have this here for a reason. The big nano leaves, and of course this PC with all kinds of RGB, and then the RGB keyboard, the GK50 Elite. As you can see, it's doing the full RGB right there. And the reason why we're actually trying this, maybe I can tell you a little bit about the technical stuff as well, is that normally, and on this thing you can actually see that difference, and on the keyboard as well, if there's green in the mix, and there usually is, RGB, there you go, it will be keyed out because of our chroma key setup, right? Because our screen behind us is green, so it'll be keyed out. And
so it will basically look gray.
Yeah, you can see that here as well in the fan, where when the green comes in, it gets keyed out. It looks a bit weird. So we thought, that's a shame, because usually it looks much nicer if you can see all the colors. So how can we do that? And that's actually what we did with the nano leaf here behind us. So even if it shows green, that it will not be keyed out. But anyway. Just trying to see, okay, yeah, so he never listens, Eric says. Yeah, you're right. What? Can't remember what you said this morning. Just kidding. Yeah, anyway, oh, thanks, by the way, also, Eric, for helping with this, because actually this is a big team effort always to do this kind of stuff, so yeah, don't have time to do it all by ourselves in a couple of days, because yeah, this is not like the full extent of our job. We actually have a lot of other things to do as well in the meantime. So
we do.
I mean, this takes up a lot of time, obviously, but it's also fun. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Far Cry 6, great new game that just came out. Oh, was it last week, beginning of this week? Very recently, at least. I had fun playing it already a bit. We're going to have fun playing it later this stream as well. And some of you guys, if you haven't bought it already, are also going to have fun with it, because we're on this side. We're actually giving away a couple of game codes during this live stream, which is really cool. And actually, we got a very nice surprise for you guys as well. Mike, if you can, I don't know if you can switch to the full screen capture.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, we are actually allowed to give away a collector's edition for you guys. So how friggin' cool is that? So as you can see, all kinds of stuff included, including a model flamethrower. all kinds of stuff. I mean, Far Cry...
I'm also blocking some stuff. So
yeah, but one of the things that I'm always psyched about with Far Cry games is the lore and the whole story around it. And as you can see, I mean, there's so much stuff there, from badges and stickers to like a full map of Yara, which is the island nation that it plays out on. A whole book there.
Is this in Dutch, by the way?
Sorry?
It's in
Dutch. Sorry, this could be in Dutch indeed.
Well, art book should be quite easy.
Yeah, anyway. But the important thing is, because the version that we will giving away is of course in English. So yeah, you can actually win this, but it doesn't just come with all these cool physical extras. It also includes, of course, the game itself, a season pass with 3 DLCs and more, and it's got the ultimate pack. And if you're wondering to yourself, well, what does that mean? I also picked up this little overview. Ooh, maybe can you shrink this a little bit, Mike, so they can actually see the full extent?
Yes,
I didn't think this through completely. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. So as you can see, the difference with the Standard Edition, Gold Edition, Ultimate Edition, and Collector's Edition is that Collector's Edition gets everything. It has the full game, Season Pass, Ultimate Pack, but also the Flamethrower replica and Collector's item. So Ultimate Pack basically just means also the Ultimate Edition includes. I think it just means all the extra content. But maybe we can also ask our guests, because we have a special guest from Ubisoft's, is it Toronto studio, right, or Montreal? What was it? We can ask her later, because we have a special guest in our live stream that actually helped to create this game and has been there for quite a while. So we hope to ask her some really great questions and find out more, of course, about the game. If you guys have any questions about the game, you can always ask them in the chat, of course. We'll be monitoring it and trying to call out any interesting questions. And it's really cool to have this person as well. Because I don't know, maybe it's best to just go to the interview right now. Best not to keep her waiting too long. Also, because we're very excited. You want to switch?
Yeah. So welcome, Stephanie. Hello,
Stephanie. From Ubisoft. It says there your function, but maybe just introduce yourself to our viewers, of course, who probably don't know you, but
yes,
that won't last long.
To.
All right.
So yes, 3D, it's something also referred to as rendering in many areas of gaming. This has to do with taking the art and the content created by the biomes team, the people who are making the buildings as well as the biomes, which have the trees and the grass, and then putting that into our game, keeping up the visual fidelity as well as speaking to the artistic vision. And we need to do this meeting our targets for performance, because this is games. We want people to be able to first-person shooter as interactive as possible. So we have tight deadlines and budgets, and we do all of that to show the art in the game.
Sounds like a challenging job, and sometimes, how do you balance it, right? Because it's, on the one hand, you want the game to be as beautiful, as artistically beautiful as possible, but like you said, you're bound by the laws of hardware physics and stuff like that. How do you do that?
Yes, it's something that we particularly had in mind because we are shipping on older gen, newer gen, older hardware, mid-range hardware, newer hardware, and we want the game to be as accessible as possible. So we put in optimizations particular for this version of Far Cry 6 so that we could, without having to take anything of the systems away from Far Cry, we could add new. And I think I'm excited, I could talk for a long time because I'm so excited to get to the details, but I'll let you ask me questions.
Oh, sure. But I mean, feel free. I mean, usually quite informal style. So, I've been playing the game for a couple of days, and I have to say, I mean, I've played previous Far Cry games well, and at some point you do start to wonder, like, all right, it's a formula, so how long can they keep this interesting? But I mean, especially with this one, Far Cry 5, I was a big fan as well. I even cosplayed as Joseph Seed back then because I grew a beard and stuff. Like I kind of creepily looked like him in some way. I was sitting there like, is this good or bad that I'm kind of feeling like, anyway. But yeah, I remember that one quite well, and that one was quite lively to me, and the lore behind it, we had some really nice stuff. But in this one as well, I mean, I started the game and it was just instantly like, all right, yeah, you just get in with the story and it's instantly motivating, like, wow, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's get into this.
And it's about creating that immersive world for gamers. In particular, we are coming from a systemic manner. We have this narrative, we have these characters, but the player isn't bound by any particular way that they have to complete exploring our world. They can be following the narrative, they can go into this tropical world where we've made sure that we have systems in play. So this world is living around the player, and each player gets a unique experience because it's not about the formula. It's about bringing things to life in this experience of adventure, of clarity, because this is Far Cry, and so you're going to be coming across characters that engage you and pull you in, as well as a world. We've brought in a whole dynamic weather system, which is brand new to Far Cry 6. And this shows the rain and the thunder and the lightning, so key to tropical humid settings.
Yep.
And this really plays well with the ray tracing that we have on PC, because those puddles are reflecting things that aren't captured well when we're limited to what's the information on the screen. Right. Ray tracing is able to pull in information that's not just in front of the camera. And so we can be getting things, details from off screen. It's something that's really added to the immersion of our game, all of these details. It's amazing to see what the players have noticed, actually. For example, with our dynamic weather system, the wetness of all of the materials needs to behave differently. Obviously, metals behave differently with water than a tree and leaves, and puddles as well. Every surface has a porosity. We define how porous the surface is. Right. And so it reacts, simulating this physical effect of puddles forming and drying. And one player actually got a 24-hour capture, and he sped it up. Because we don't have the puddles just pop in and out of our game. We're simulating this world so it feels alive.
Yeah.
Because you have also been working on Far Cry 5, right? The previous version.
No, actually, I'm first to Far Cry 6.
First to Far Cry 6. But you're with Ubisoft for quite a while already, right?
I started 5 years ago, and it has been all Far Cry 6.
So that already shows how long the development of a game like this takes.
Yeah.
A little over 5 years.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. I joined the team when I was the 22nd person. So there are 21 other people. And we've grown to be hundreds of people across the world. I am at Ubisoft Toronto. That was a question, and I can throw out the answer at that. And it's been such an experience to see the team grow and our game come to life.
Yeah. But I mean, over 5 years, wow. I mean, can you maybe don't know if that's possible, but can you tell, like, how do you even start? How does it start, like with a storyline, like we have a thought, or somebody has a script or something? Because it's almost like it's more detailed than a movie in ways, right? Because it has to be interactive, so it's crazy the amount of detail that goes into it.
I was so blown away by the thoroughness they put into building this world. And that's what I feel makes the narrative so compelling, is that it's grown organically from this passion, the research that's gone into exploring a tropical Latin American setting, looking not just, obviously Cuba is a big inspiration for us, but understanding the history about how an island is different than being on a larger continent, and looking at Colombia, Venezuela, other countries in Latin America, so that we can then make something that makes sense in the context of our world as well. Yeah. It feels like it could be existing. Yara, Book of Flight.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to admit, I've never been in that part of the world, but indeed, like, with my limited knowledge and imagery, which probably is formed a lot by TV and, the stuff you see, but yeah, it does feel like, Yeah, that sounds legit. Like it could be indeed a real place. Of course, it's a game, but it does, like, it has a certain amount of immersion because it does have realism, and it could be like that.
And now, of course, with COVID, traveling is a little bit harder. With Far Cry, you can still
that's true. Yeah,
kind of see what it looks like.
Yeah, but I would, because you're saying indeed, with what you're saying, like, we actually have people who've been there, and it's part of the process. And I would love to see, how people who actually are from those places or have been there a lot of time, they probably would also go like, yeah, there's definitely certain aspects that are 100% relatable to those real locations and those countries.
They've been very thorough, not just from talking people who are on the production team from Latin American countries. A great example for that is the audio dev diary that recently came up with Eduardo Weissman, who did the music and soundtrack, who worked on the soundtrack and music and audio for this game, to also making sure that we're checking with Latinx consultants about the culture and what are the things that are sensitive. And people such as myself who have family from Colombia or different areas, it really resonates. And so much of it comes from them making sure to research the details.
Yeah.
So that it's the big little details that make a difference in the end. The sorts of things that maybe people don't notice, but just add to the experience overall, just like those puddles.
Yeah.
And how hard is it to translate all those things into the game? Because that's where also your job comes in a lot, right?
Yes, it is. And so it's about looking at, so I mentioned, we brought in the dynamic weather system so that we can be modeling that feel of the tropics, that humid aspect. The fog is a volumetric effect as well, new, similar to the clouds, new to Far Cry 6. These are very important because they change the lighting of the game dramatically. And so we need to be looking at having the input from art direction so that we can understand, you can throw tech at a screen, but you really need that artistic vision and the input from the content teams in order to make it come to life. And finding those details has a lot of the feedback from the team, and going to the environment, understanding things like, I mentioned the volumetric effects, the ocean, key to an island. And it's been fantastic to see players putting the photo mode through its paces as they're capturing those scenes, those vistas, the sunsets. All of these things are about simulating our world, and we've needed to bring the game to physically based rendering in a way we hadn't before.
Actually, last week I've been watching a video where they showed all the different versions of Far Cry, and I, like you mentioned, the water is such a huge difference when you're, for example, comparing the first 3 versions of Far Cry, and you see it developing further and further.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is with water, but that's always one of the first things where you really see a huge difference when you're going towards a more recent game.
Yes, and that has to do with us approaching that physically based rendering model. It's an entirely different lighting model that we're using actually for our ocean than the tech that was used for Far Cry 5. Because with the dynamic weather system, as I've mentioned, it's a completely different lighting setting. So we can't just set a color and then forget about it, because it's going to look what looks good in a sunny, beautiful day is going to look terrible and not realistic in a rain thunderstorm or even at night. But the rain thunderstorm, that bright sunny day, the sun sets, it pushes it that little bit further. And so that is why we brought in a whole new lighting model for our ocean.
And I can imagine that also takes, you have all these new techniques, but that of course takes a lot of rendering capacity. So I believe GPU optimization is also getting more and more important nowadays.
Definitely. One of the things that we've brought in, there's been a few things that we've brought in for the different areas of our game. For example, GPU culling. This is about getting an occlusion buffer, so a texture, as you will, that helps us understand what's visible on the screen and what's not, but getting that information on the GPU so that we can be taking that load off of the CPU and then determining we don't need to be holding this in memory anymore. We don't need to be going through the expensive process of determining what it would look like, simulating that travel of light. It's not even on the screen, so we can forget about it. And then there's also key to getting our biomes to fit with, as you mentioned, all of these expensive effects. We've added GPU instancing. And so this is where we keep track of what is more than one. So for example, a tree of a particular type, instead of storing 5 to 35 or how many of these particular trees are on the screen, we can keep a certain amount of information about that for all of them on the GPU. Again, removing that from the CPU and moving that work into the power horse of the GPU and getting that extra cycles so that we can be adding into our world. Now also we've added the cities. And these cities are different than rendering the world, because with the buildings, you get surfaces that share a very similar color over them, much more than you would in a forest. I slip into the word biome, but in a forest or into a part of the natural world. And because of the similarity of color, we can use the technique DCC, or delta color compression, which takes advantage of a similar color being used over the screen and different ways to track that, and then reduce the performance because we don't need to shade individually all of these pixels. And it means that we've been able to bring in these urban landscapes for the first time in Far Cry.
All right, this sounds really good. And I mean, like you said, all the materials have to behave differently, so that must be an insane amount of both research, but also just, making it, programming it so it behaves the way you want it to. And there's things that are more static, like in a way, so building stuff, they don't move once they stand, so that's one way. But like water, I think because it's constantly in motion, it's of course also translucent partially, so you've got reflections, refractions, all those different things. And then of course it needs to behave because you've got boats and stuff, so it also needs to behave in a physical way so that stuff floats and in an appropriate way, or sinks, depending on of course the attribute. So I mean, yeah, I can't even begin to imagine. I mean, I can begin to imagine how it takes you 5 years to do this, because it sounds like an insane amount of work.
It's a tremendous amount of work, and such an eye for detail has gone into this, because as you mentioned, these materials behave differently, and I've mentioned the wetness, but also we've gone and done improvements for the skin shading. There's an effect, Subsurface Scattering, which has to do with how the light passes through our skin. The irony being that in film and VFX, they put makeup on actors, so our skin is less translucent. But that's something here in games that we really strive to add.
So basically to not have that layer of makeup, basically, but to have it as realistic as possible, how people would look in real life and not on a movie screen.
Yes.
All right.
And so the realism is important, and though the artists are the ones who are adding in those details to each of the individual materials and characters. And then here on the rendering and the 3D side, we make sure that it fits into our systems, because we're about the whole game overall, and that is magic to see come together.
Yeah, you mentioned ray tracing earlier as well, and I can imagine that's a bit of a challenge, because I mean, from the moment we've seen ray tracing being introduced, it's been a constant, I want to say, battle, because it's a relatively new technology, and it's computationally very expensive compared to traditional rendering. How do you choose, the implementation of ray tracing, and then do you really have to sit there and go, right, well, we can afford to have this effect, but unfortunately we have to leave this one off, or how do you do that?
And so often these choices need to be guided by a philosophy. And our philosophy lines up very well with our partner AMD, in that we want this to be accessible to players. We don't want to be gating it. And so our implementation of ray tracing, a hybrid ray tracing, makes this accessible to players even with mid-range hardware on PC. But because we have that there for them, we're able to fill in the gaps where the traditional screen space information fails. Now, just to step back for a moment, all of this traditional rendering and rasterization you will hear sometimes people mentioning, this is about making use of the information that's in front of the camera or the player's eye and extrapolating, doing very intelligent and smart tricks and hacks to replicate what light is actually doing, which is bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
And so you will mention, we'll get the reflections that are coming from off of the screen, and all of these things are actually replicated with ray tracing. It's something that is used in film and VFX, and actually where I used to be working before I stayed home with my kids and Maya, the Academy Award winning software used in VFX films and all over the place.
Yeah.
It's something that was being brought into films and VFX when I was on Maya, and it's actually kind of fun to see physically based rendering and ray tracing coming in because the hardware can finally support this.
Yeah, I mean,
it's exactly as you're saying. It's very computationally expensive, but the results you get, you'll also hear graphics people mention the word ground truth, which is about trying to get the actual simulation of the light, and ray tracing can get us closer and closer to that.
Yeah, I mean, the hardware has a while to catch up, but I mean, this is with every new render method or new technology that you see introduced. I mean, the basic rasterization rendering that was introduced a long time ago at the beginning was struggling on the hardware of those days, and I mean, look how well that's gone. And I think looking at the hardware, the dynamic and how it's progressing, it just seems to be going faster and faster. And I think also, of course, technologies like FSR, Fidelity Effect Super Resolution, can really help to kind of at least optimize it for now, and doing a really good job at it. Mostly on high resolutions, because it does because it renders on a lower resolution. We're going to show that later on in the stream as well. And we've talked about FSR earlier with an AMD demo as well. And what you could really see is that at 4K it shines. It's really great. You're not missing out on any detail really. It almost looks like native. And that's pretty much was the first version of FSR. So I'm also wondering, maybe we can get to that later, if if FSR is kind of if it's maturing, if there's new versions coming out, or how it's being implemented. But what we've seen is that also with 1080p, if you 4040p, it's still doable. It's still good, but at 1080p you could really start seeing some loss of detail because it's being rendered at 720 or lower, depending on your settings. But yeah, it looks so promising, and it brings all this detail and insane, computational power to a lot of people, like you said. So yeah, sorry, let me get back to the question, because FSR, I'm also wondering about that. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that it was introduced, and of course it's implemented to the fullest in Far Cry 6. Because I think AMD there was somebody from AMD on our show back then as well, and he basically said it's really easy to implement. It's pretty much just, I don't want to say copy paste, but a ready to go package that you can include into your game, and you'll have at least some basic implementation of FSR. But of course there's a whole lot more that you can do. Can you tell us a bit more about the how you included and optimized FSR in Far Cry 6?
FSR was tremendously easy to integrate into our pipeline. It was something that we could start testing immediately in our game. And because of this ease of integration, as you mentioned, this came out very recently. It's really June 22nd when a lot more of these details, or FSR, have become public. And this is something that, because it's been so easy to integrate, it's key for us to be able to test things. We want to make sure that what we're exposing to our players is something solid, and it's production ready, this FSR implementation. We've added this as an option because PC players make such good use of the options that we have. They go into the menus, they play with those buttons, and we want this to be an option for them. Their play style, as you mentioned, at 1080p you might start losing its it becomes more clear that some details are being lost. But if you can reach those frame rates for more interactive, crank that past 60, then it can be a really rewarding experience for so many of our players.
Yeah, it's always like about, if your system doesn't fully support like ultra graphics or something, you're gonna have to compromise on some settings anyway. Now you might say, all right, well, I'll go the route of pulling most of the settings back to medium, or the medium settings. That's a possibility, of course. Or you could say, indeed, all right, well, I want to keep everything on ultra basically, but I'm okay with sacrificing a little bit of detail using FSR, or a mix anywhere in between. Obviously, I mean, you can do that.
I would even say FSR helps you having to avoid reaching those compromise moments, because you can be getting a nicer a higher external resolution, even though the internal resolution is lower. And that's why we wanted to expose it to players, so that less players have to reach that moment where they stare in the mirror and be like, do I want to drop these graphic settings? So this is one of the big reasons we wanted to expose it and make sure players had an access to that.
And so also one of the questions I'm wondering as a gamer myself, but also watching the ecosystem and the reviews and stuff like that, there's often a point where if you put everything on ultra, some people say that's not really a smart thing to do anyway, because then you'll have some settings that have that are visually maybe not as noticeable, but that might have a very big impact on your performance. You, as somebody who's involved in the whole process of shaping those settings, I mean, I assume you're also involved in deciding what constitutes an ultra setting at in some setting, in a high, or very high, medium, low. How do you see that? And I mean, obviously you provide those options because you want people to have these options, and it makes it more widely available to more hardware, obviously, because that's really what it does. But in your heart of hearts, would you say, well, if at all possible, you should always play on ultra, because all the little details that we've put in there, I can imagine you, having done the work, would be like, please use ultra, because please,
can you see everything?
See my work. Indeed, I would be like that, because if I would be putting that, so much years of my life into something like that, I would be begging people to use ultra, because then they could see what I've done, and marvel at it.
You know what has really impressed on me, and has been part of my favorite part of the experience of being part of this team, is realizing how different people see different details in the game. And one of my favorite moments actually on the game is having one of the animators sitting at my desk, and we were watching a scene, and he said, that animation is off by a frame. He went back to his desk. He changed something. Now, I should mention, I didn't see anything wrong with it at this point. He came back, he played it, and it looked better.
No? Wow.
I don't know what he changed.
Yeah.
But it looked better. And so for me, I think if you have the hardware and it's not costing you any frame rates, then crank it to ultra, whoever you are. You can do that if you have the hardware. But for a lot of players, they're going to be more sensitive to different aspects of the game. And we make this game with the hope that we're going to give something that really connects to the player, be it somebody who wants more interactive play, or whether it's somebody who wants those every little last pixel to count. And so I encourage people to also keep in mind those frame rates, because we do put a lot of effort into the performance. So you could say that's also my team's work there, and they've done an amazing job. I would encourage that, crank it to where you can and maintain some good solid frame rates. I think it's a really rewarding experience.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I mean, you point out something that's indeed very true, and I agree completely that, as many people as there are, and people enjoy games in their own particular way, of course, there's certainly a way that you guys, of course, steering it somewhere, like, the way it's kind of, meant to be experienced in a way, but in terms of settings. But if you think about the impossible amount of combinations of hardware, I mean, we've got a PC sitting on the desk here now. Luckily enough, we have access to some pretty good hardware, so we've put together a very high-end PC. But yeah, I mean,
We're going to enjoy all of the games.
Oh yes, yeah. We're going ultra all the way. Yes, yeah. Just saying that's we're not going to compromise.
The only
here.
thing we may switch off is motion blur.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. That one is. What are your thoughts on motion blur? Because I mean, it's
I mean, motion blur is definitely an area where players' preference is so key.
Yes.
Because it's a very different feel, you know, and that goes with movies as well in how they use them. Gladiator, for example, went to a lot of effort to kill motion blur as much as they could. They wanted clean action scenes. Yeah. And so that's something that games have the ability through settings to make it more accessible to players, that they can reflect what is the most compelling experience for them.
Right. Yeah, because that's always a hot one indeed. I mean, we are sorry for the people who actually create and put their time into motion blur, because they obviously also do a great job. I'm sure it's just. Indeed,
we usually just crank everything up as high as possible, so up to ultra, and then we switch off motion blur. That's usually the way.
Yeah, because I think it's just like you're saying. If you're, it's maybe the nature of our job and how we look at things as well. Like if you are trying to play something on a high resolution and 4K, you want everything to be as crisp and sharp as possible, because that's kind of the goal you're heading towards, I guess. So from that point of view, we kind of always just say, no, motion blur. You're undoing part of what I'm trying to achieve here. Anyway.
And that's something that, really speaks to that sort of experience that Gladiator, for example, wanted to show in that movie. And the motion blur can be reflective of people who enjoy that experience when things are moving so fast that it's but a blur to our eyes. And that's a physical phenomenon that we replicate. And so
it's a bit like when you're driving on the highway and you see everything flashing by.
Yes, exactly. It's something that, you see kids, they'll move their hand back and forth because they find it funny. This is the option, then, the freedom we can give to players, because we're not stuck in a film. We're playing a game.
Yeah. So I have another question relating to how long it takes to develop a game, and then the challenges you meet along the way. Because, I mean, 5 years ago, the computer landscape and the platforms and pretty much everything, even the operating systems, because Windows 11 just launched, looked different than it does today. How do you cope with that? Because it's constantly changing. Everything is constantly changing. Does that add to the complexion of creating a game like that? And how do you deal with that?
It's something, for me, it adds to the enjoyment also of the experience, because if you're sculpting something, you can only sculpt for so long before you're left with rubble and ash. Whereas for us, we can continue to work on things. We can continue to improve. We can continue to reach for better and higher, because it's always changing. And so we're given new tools. We're given a different environment, a technical environment to be working with. And part of that is looking and understanding, how are these changing? What are the things that we can be doing? Moving things off of the CPU onto the GPU, making better usage of the hardware that is there so that it's not sitting idle. It's something that is very exciting to think about, because there's so much room to develop.
Does it also happen, for example, that you've already done certain work and then a certain new technique comes out that you have to do all the work over again?
FSR.
There are definite moments of that, but I find, particularly because we are working on, the nice thing about it is we're also given a timeline, because we're shipping a game. We could be working, as I mentioned, always and forever on reaching for something new, something amazing, but we do need to ship a game. And so it gives us a shorter timeline to focus on. And so while there could be a new tech that comes up, sometimes these things come in too late, and we need to focus on making sure we have a solid experience for our players. But sometimes these things, FSR, come in, and they are so easy to integrate that we're able to test them thoroughly enough to include them into our pipeline. So this is another one of our guiding posts is, can we get this included in our game in a way that's responsible to the player? Because game-breaking bugs, nobody likes those.
So along the way, you're still deciding different techniques to implement, or maybe sometimes drop them because you have to meet a certain time frame?
It's something that we always have an eye on for, of what's coming. We have the advantage that we have key partnerships, such as with yourself, so that we know some of the tech as it's coming up. But this is something that's part of our job, keeping on top of these things.
Yeah, it's a constantly evolving landscape, and like I said, we're not called MSI Insider for nothing. I want to ask you a question. I'm not sure. I mean, if you can't answer it, let me know. But I'm genuinely curious, and I think maybe a lot of viewers as well. Like things like FSR, maybe on the hardware front as well, but that's a bit different. We pretty much know how it goes there. But also like things like Windows 11. Before the general public knows about it, are you already in contact with, for example, Microsoft for Windows or AMD for things like FSR long before we even hear about it? Or is this something like you also see like the public demonstration and you think, maybe we should look into this? Because then, that also changed the time frame quite a lot.
It does change the time frame. And we also have to keep in mind, now we might have knowledge of things in advance, but there's also a real benefit to having tech that is tested, that is shown to be production ready. And so this is where there is that trade-off of, do we have a close partnership, and so that we're able to get our hands on soon enough? And I made reference to that with AMD. We can have knowledge ahead of time, but it's also about, can we have access to this hardware or this software advantages and new tech?
Yeah, because exactly like you say, people, when this game launches, people expect like basically perfection, and you're trying to offer that to them, which is, in my experience, it's not realistic. I mean, there are so many different combinations of things, even with Windows. I mean, you see it with Windows 11 as well. I mean, they've been working on that for a long time. They even did a whole, testing with people like beta versions along, and then when it finally launches, you still run into so many different things that you could never have foreseen, because it's being played on different systems, different combinations. It's infinite, the amount of possibilities and potential issues you can run into as well. But how do you deal with that? Because that's also one of the things that we very often, we deal with it with our software as well, which not always in the best way, unfortunately. We're sometimes still struggling with it. I mean, we're a hardware vendor, a hardware manufacturer by heart, so but we're trying our best with our software, but we're also experiencing just how difficult it is. Even just something as simple as, people report problems, or we ourselves experience problems, and then they're trying to recreate it, because then, of course, you need to be able to recreate it to find out what the issue is in the first place, to then go on to find the fix for it. So how do you do it?
Tell me your secret.
Yeah.
So it's something that I really believe that this sort of work is for bringing industry best practices. There's a lot of really good tech talks about these sorts of things. Conferences, CPP Con coming up, for example, where you can be looking at some of the techniques for building software, but there's not as much focus, perhaps in these conferences. It's becoming more prevalent in the testing, as you were mentioning. There's so many different combinations and permutations to these that we need to make sure that we're augmenting the sort of testing, that traditional testing that you think of a person in front of the, playing the game, using the software, and they can test in a way that we cannot automate, but we also need to augment that. And we need to add to that so that it's not expected that they will find everything, because we need to be catching these problems even before they get to their hands as much as possible, so that we can be reactive. And so it's adding tests sooner and gates so that we can be making sure that we can have the quality. So by the time it gets to the dev tester, we're not coming up with a game-breaking problem, because then their day is gone. They can't get past a certain point.
Yeah, Yeah, because, and I have to say, I mean, in my experience for Far Cry 6 so far, I really haven't, I can't remember having really run into any bugs whatsoever. I mean, sometimes you, not in Far Cry 6, but in other games, you've got things that you think, all right, well, floating rock, or, you know, some minor thing, not game breaking, but you just think, oh yeah, there's a little glitch, but
or
nothing
sometimes that you're
springs to
just
mind,
stuck
really,
in the game, you cannot move anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that means, I mean, for me, you know, looking at it, that's quite impressive, and it means that you guys have put an enormous amount of time, or you have to have done that, otherwise it wouldn't be like that.
It was a tremendous amount of time and passion and dedication into getting this. We had to do this when our normal systems weren't there because COVID and pandemic, and so people are working from home.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that we're catching those details, particularly when you have people working at home? Remote is not the same for many of these visual issues that we're looking at and details that we're adding. It was a real exercise. The team really pulled together. My hat's off to them. They put so much effort, not just into developing this game, but making sure that the quality was put in there as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's impressive, like I said, and you know, just from the limited things that we're doing, I can't even begin to imagine the amount of work that goes into it for you guys.
By the way, we always look from a hardware perspective, so I was quickly doing the math, like 5 years ago, that's like RX 480 time frame. That's such a huge difference in terms of GPU performance, where we are today, and when, well, you actually started working on this game already.
Yeah, but I think this is a lot of, you know, people, you see this a lot as well. It's like people don't really think about the amount of time, or when, for example, if you start 5 years ago with a game like this, because I remember a long time ago when the GPUs were like, sorry, the CPUs had like 4 cores on average. But recently, of course, the number of cores has gone up as well. And so a lot of people were saying like, why doesn't my game use all my cores? Well, because that game was designed, even if it was released today, it was probably designed so many years ago that you know, the hardware landscape looked completely different, and you can't really look into the future. You can hazard a guess, but that's a big risk to take.
It is a risk, and it's something that you can be looking at it so that you're using the hardware even that's available. So we're looking at more of the mid-range sorts of things even before. And you can keep in mind, how can I make better use of this? In this, similar to the way that direct storage is having access to optimized OS storage stack, but for Windows 11, it's a completely upgraded. We can be looking at that, and we really wanted to include that in our game so that we're looking at not just what was present 5 years ago, what's coming, how can we make best use of this hardware?
So because you say we wanted to include that, so does Far Cry 6 already make use of some elements of direct storage?
Not direct storage,
okay.
but we make use of the SSDs, which are much more prevalent now. Key for our loading data. I like to think of open world games. It's as if you're giving someone a tour to your house and they can magically transport to your bathroom before you've had a chance to clean it.
Yeah.
You need to get the data in fast. You need to be able to get that. And so we're looking at those trends. How can we be loading things so that the player, and the right things? Because sometimes the data can be put together in a way that it comes bundled with a whole bunch of stuff you don't see on screen.
Yeah. And so as someone who's like, you know, technically involved in creating all this stuff, because I also hear some people, or reading some people, of course, saying, oh, but I hope my game, which is out for, I don't know, like a competitive game, not of your making, but, you know, what would it take to include something like direct storage for an existing game? Would you have to like change the game or like rebuild it from the ground up, or at least partially, or is it just completely not feasible?
So this is something that I haven't delved in with our game. It's something that's not very specifically written by Windows, so it's not ground up. It's something that, as I mentioned, that has accessibility to the different levels, even into Windows 10.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right.
So
Yeah.
they have very specifically built this in the same way. My hat's off to them when I see details like that,
Yeah.
because we do try and include those mid-range hardware, getting access to our direct, our DXR ray tracing,
Yeah.
that we want to include people.
Yeah, because I mean, and this is the thing, we're on the hardware spectrum pretty much. So we are usually also on the receiving end of these technologies when they come out, and then we sit there going, ooh, wringing our hands like, oh, this is going to be good, this is going to be fantastic. But then, of course, it takes quite a long time. And, it always, it's underestimated, I think, just quite how much effort and time it takes to really implement something like that in the right way, not just a fast, cut and paste job, but correctly, so that it really provides the benefits in the case of direct storage, for example, but also even ray tracing or FSR. I mean, there's always a whole lot more work that goes into it than I think probably is apparent by just playing the game.
Thank you very much. There is a lot to go into that, to handle those factors of all the different hardware configurations, software configurations, drivers, PCs, and it's something that the complexity is worth it. We want this game in players' hands so that they can be enjoying it.
Yeah. And I think that's really what you did as well. I think you did a great job so far, as at least from my experience, if I can just throw my personal opinion in there. Another question, just short, about fidelity effects, because of course, I mean, as we mentioned, it's not been out there for that long. Do you think in future games, because I assume probably you're going to also work on other future projects, do you think there's a lot of headroom there for FSR to even improve more? Is there, given more time, or I mean, obviously, I'm betting AMD is also still working on it.
I have faith in AMD's ability to continue to innovate and develop.
Okay.
That's something that, as I mentioned with tech, the great thing about it is there's always a new dimension to the environment.
Yes.
Be it hardware innovations, be it software innovations. There's, rasterization has been around for so long, and ray tracing has been along for a long time on movies and VFX, yes. But because of different ways to implement it using new hardware, it's now in games. And I really see AMD being able to continue to innovate and bring quality.
Cool. So that's code for, yeah, probably we're going to see some really exciting stuff in the future. We're counting on it.
I'll let AMD tell their story.
Of course. But we're always curious and usually quite excited, especially when it comes to things like this, because let's be honest, this is just it's an amazing way to still preserve the visual fidelity, but to be able to give that or allow for people with not only the top end hardware to enjoy it as well. That's just great.
And today we're actually both playing, and Peter will be playing on top end hardware. Yep. But I'll be playing on a more modest graphics card. It's actually in front of you, right?
Yeah.
But more about that later in this stream.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so just a little bit of a spoiler alert indeed. So we have on my system, my high-end system, an RX 6900 XT, of course. So it's the highest end model. And we have the brand new, the model that came out today, the RX 6600 on the table here as well. I'm going to, well, not throw it quite, but transfer it over to Mike, his PC, during the live stream. So he will actually be playing on the 6600 as well. And yeah, we played it a little bit on this one, and it's amazing. It plays quite well, I can already tell you. So yeah, that also just speaks to all the optimizations and exactly what you said, Stephanie. That it's quite available, it's still doable and quite a good experience even on even the more mid-range, more modest hardware configuration. So yeah, that's just really nice.
It stays true with the philosophy that lines up with us here on Far Cry 6 about making things open and making things available. AMD also has their open GPU. They have a lot of resources you can be looking up online for learning. It's I really believe in the importance of reaching out and helping people learn more. So I've been so excited to be able to talk about this tech and graphics and the things that we've done, because the more people that are aware of it, maybe somebody will be interested and want to join us.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you're into games, that's, I think, Mike, you also, right? That's how we got into this business.
Yeah,
we're
for
not
sure.
into the
It
software,
started
but
as a
I
hobby
could just
and,
as well have
yeah,
been.
it
Because
escalated
indeed,
quickly.
if your hobby is gaming or hardware or something like that, then why not make your career out of your hobby, right?
That's exactly it.
That's the
It's an
best
exciting and
motivation
fun
you can
way.
have, because then every day it's like, you're excited about something new because it's already, you already like that kind of stuff.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's been so exciting to be able to work with people on this game who are so passionate and dedicated about what they bring, and how hard they have worked with the struggles that we've had. I've alluded to that with the COVID and people having to be at home, and still working ahead, staying focused on this game. It's been amazing.
Stephanie, before we end, I've got one last question for you. Like, we're going to play the game later, of course. Yes. What should we really pay attention to in the game?
Oh,
what should we look out extremely carefully for?
Yes.
So I'm going to draw your eye to the 3D and rendering effects. And I'm also going to be drawing your eye to, so I've mentioned the dynamic weather system and how that rolls in, and we use that for narrative tools. For some of our cinematics and cutscenes, really sets the dramatic tone. And it's something that is a tropical feel to this island. Those oceans, the sunset, players have been loving that. If you're in the forest with those fogs.
So we're going to have a tropical holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the light shafts coming through. I also want you to pay attention to a volumetric effect as well, poison. It's something that new that we've added. The weather system interacts with our world. Rain will put out fire. As well, poison will respond to these winds that come with our weather system. It responds to environment around the player. It doesn't go through walls. It adds a new dimension so that each experience is unique. And I encourage you to pay attention to all of those things as you're playing.
I know that Peter was testing the game earlier today, and he was close to a car that was on fire, carefully watching. Oh, that's pretty! And then all of a sudden he was on fire.
Yeah, I think the gas tank. I thought it was just a graphic effect, but the gas tank, I think a shot hit it, so the fire was bursting out of it, and I was just standing there like, I bet they didn't think of this detail, and then it's like, whoa, we catch on fire.
And so it interacts with poison as well. You're going to find our world is alive.
Yeah.
Stephanie,
impressive.
Thank you so much for joining us today in the stream. And I'm already looking very much forward to playing the game. And maybe if ever Far Cry 7 launches, we will be very happy to have you here again to talk about all the new stuff.
Yep.
You've been working on in the latest version.
Thank you so much. I'm so tremendously proud of the work the team has been doing. I'm honored to be a part of this amazing team. I speak obviously for my team, the rendering graphics, but for all of the aspects of the game. Thank you for letting me come on and speak to what I feel is a real testament of passion and dedication.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We're going to go and enjoy your work.
Awesome. That's the best.
Yes. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and we hope to have you on the show sometime in the future again. Would be nice.
It's been such a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephanie. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was quite a nice interview as well. I mean, we were really excited that we really had somebody from the rendering team who could really speak in more detail than we're used to on the show, because usually we get people of course with a lot of marketing background and PR, and everything is kind of filtered maybe in a way, but yeah, it was really cool. I hope you guys also enjoyed it. Let's see, I was trying to monitor the chat if there were any nice questions. I did see some issues that I might want to go into. Some people trying to enter the giveaway. But yeah, at the beginning I was so excited to get into the interview, I kind of forgot to mention, of course, you can go to, as the address says over my shoulder, msi.com/2/insider.
I'll give you guys all a few minutes, and then I'll draw our first winner for today.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly. And of course, you can also, our Stream Elements bot should be posting the link every 5 minutes in the chat. I hope it's working. If it's not, let us know. Then we can try and fix it. The Gleam link, so you can go directly to the Gleam link, perform a few actions, and yeah, that should get you registered for our giveaway as well. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to at the same time. I just remembered I forgot to install Afterburner here, and I kind of want to show you guys the real-time performance as well during the gameplay later on. If we get the game, we'll have more better questions. Yeah, obviously. Honestly, I got most of my most of the inspiration for the question. What I wanted to talk about, of course, while playing the game. So also a huge thanks to Ubisoft for providing us access to the game, and of course some codes to give away to you guys today.
And not only codes, also the collector's edition.
Exactly. Yeah. So that one is also available, but. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, and it's really cool, the game. So we'll get into that in a minute as well. Let me see. Or actually, maybe Mike, you can already draw a winner.
I will, in the meanwhile, draw our first winner.
Yeah.
So if you're not signed up yet, go to msi.com/2/insider. Or if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, you can follow the direct link in the chat as well. Also, if you're a returning visitor, make sure to claim your loyalty bonus. That will give you a slight edge in the giveaway. And you can already do that if you've participated once before in our giveaway. So let me quickly draw our first winner for today. We have a winner. So this is, our first winner is for a game code for Far Cry 6. So this is not the collector's edition yet. This is the regular version of the game. Congratulations. Is it Real, or is it REAI? I'm not 100% sure about it, but congratulations.
Yeah.
You won a code for Far Cry 6. Please keep an eye on your mailbox, then we can email it to you in the coming days. And of course, we hope you enjoy it a lot. So you're installing.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can switch to my PC, and so people can see what I'm doing. So basically, I mean, like usually, what we do during the gameplay, we want to show you guys the real-time performance as well in the on-screen display, or OSD. And of course, you need to configure that. So I've just installed Afterburner and chosen picked the skin that that I like best. Basically, it starts out with a different skin. I like this one better personally. And I was trying to figure out why there's two GPU temperatures here. Anyway, I think it should be okay. Then, of course, we want to see frame rate. So I've got GPU usage, frame rates, of course, and I'll show that in a text and a graph. What else do we want to see? I want to see temperatures as well. I don't know. Fan speed. Oh yeah, because that's GPU usage. There we go. That's also one of the ones.
Misha K is asking what's under the True Gaming bag by Mike. I think you mean right here. This is not a bag. This is a rock.
Yeah, it's a rock we put there because otherwise Mike would be floating. Because we're still 5 meters apart or something. Even though
I can switch myself off. But now I'm gone.
Yes. Whoosh. It's mad. But yeah. We are still keeping the social distancing, even though in the country where we live, the Netherlands, we are, I think, since a couple of 2 weeks ago or something, we are no longer legally required to keep the 1.5 meters distance. But and also, if you're vaccinated, then you don't really need to do that as much. But still,
just to be sure, because you're really close together when we're at one.
International audience, we not all countries have that yet, so we don't want to do that in a controversial way. Mike's camera is also a different one, so he doesn't really look that pale in real life.
It's also
he's
worse
pale.
right
Don't get me
now.
wrong, he's pale. So am I. But you can see the difference there is quite extreme.
But it's a bit worse now because we had to do some specific settings because we're having nano leaf today. The RGB lighting that you see on the back.
Exactly. So we had to make some compromise. So sorry, Mike.
I had to make some compromises in the way I look.
Yeah, we had to compromise you. No, but yeah, it was a bit. Yeah, again, it was one of the technical challenges of how to get this all to kind of show correctly in a way that still shows the effect and kind of try to make
It's
it look
okay.
nice.
I'll sacrifice
as
my
well.
looks for it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway.
So let's go back to your
Yes.
capture.
Anyway, so yeah, I was putting a couple of things there.
Sorry about that.
We're gonna get a sponsored break.
Actually, part of my can is being keyed out because it's
Yeah, okay.
partially green.
Okay. I think maybe this would be a good time to show, because we have a bundle, and I'll just go to our website as well.
Alien Hunter says Peter has the summer settings,
Yeah.
Mike has the winter settings.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of in between, because like at the end of this month, we're not in summertime anymore here in Europe, and I think the US is following suit in the week after that, right?
Yeah, I think the 7th of November is
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the United States, I believe.
So
North
yeah,
America.
summer's definitely pretty much gone. Michael looks like a cool guy. Are you referring to his complexion, like his blue skin tone?
Yo, I'm looking for your question. but
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not
trying
sure
to see,
if
because
I
you know
can
usually we
see
try
it.
to answer any questions that you have if they are answerable.
Just put it in chat again.
Yeah,
I'll see.
if you can, if I bought a new MSI GPU, should the box be sealed or not? Yeah, if it's new from the store, usually yeah, it does have a. Well, I don't happen to
I think
have
it's
a
like a
box
sticker,
here,
right?
but usually it does have, I think, a sticker over the little lip that you have to
That
pull out.
may differ per region, though. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if in
and also
every
per box.
region there is.
Also per
seal
box.
on
We have a
it.
lot of
Yeah.
different box types, but in general, usually yes. But another way you can usually tell if the card is new or not is also if, of course, it's packed in anti-static bag. And if usually there's a couple of stickers on the card itself as well, most notably on the in the
fans.
middle of the fan, basically on the middle of the fan where it says the MSI, or you have the little dragon logos on the gaming cards. There's usually a little like protective sticker on that as well. Anyway, yeah. Oh yes, how long will it take to replace my Seahawk 3080?
Oh,
I have
that's
no idea.
impossible for me
Unfortunately,
to-
that's
yeah.
something we can't answer. It depends on so many different factors, and you know, we are not part of the RMA, the support team. Unfortunately, I mean, these guys are doing a great job, and they're
Also, for some specific models, it takes a bit longer to get a replacement card, for example. So it's really hard.
and it also even
say.
differs per region.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, we can't give you any kind of meaningful answer for it or not. Huh. All right. Anyway, if you're having doubts, Joanto, please. I'm not sure which region you're from. You don't really have to tell us either. But I would suggest you to try and reach out to your nearest MSI local office if you really have doubts. If your product is previously open or not. If you have serious doubts about it. On the other hand, if the product works, if you've tested it and it works and it works just fine, then there should be no issue. But yeah, if you really have a lot of questions about it or doubt it, then please contact your nearest MSI office. Probably they can give you the most specific help.
Yeah, a way more detailed answer than we can give right here.
Yes. Let's see. Yeah, all right. Anyway, back to the landing page. So if you go there, this is actually linked in the YouTube description as well. But also, I think one of the ways you can enter our giveaway, or at least add more points to it, is to visit this landing page. So yeah, you can choose to do it or not. Then you have to choose your region, and as you can see, it's Europe and Asia. So unfortunately for the US, you'll see a lot of these bundles are often region locked or for a very specific region. You choose the region you're from or the country, and then after that, choose your country. Of course, we're from the Netherlands, but maybe I should choose the US or UK rather, so it's in English. Otherwise, it's going to be in Dutch, which for most of you will probably be a lot of gibberish. Here we go. And there it shows you, of course, all the details about this bundle. So as you can see, but also the amount of codes, because it is limited amount of codes that are available. So
first come, first serve.
Exactly. I would advise you or urge you to be quick if you really want this game and you're kind of on the fence or planning to buy something anyway. It also tells you which of the shops are participating in this offer, if it's specific to certain shops in your country.
By the way, it's not that there are 188 codes left in general. This is for that specific region.
Exactly, yeah, because if I would choose another country, it would say a different number. So indeed, the codes have been kind of divided up per country, and that for now is the number that's showing.
Also, because in some countries certain products arrive slightly earlier, so it wouldn't be fair if they already claim all the codes before the other country even receives certain products.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And then, this is, it went live the 7th of, the
6 days ago.
Yeah, 6 days ago, the 7th of October. And your invoice to be eligible also has to be from that date. So just make sure that if you bought those products, make sure your invoice has a date between, starting from the 7th of October to the 31st of October. And you'll have to buy one of these products to be able to participate. Actually, this also differs per country, I noticed.
Yeah, it differs per region what products are eligible. Also, because in certain countries you can buy different stuff in different states.
Yeah, the models, the availability, but also the models can differ per country.
Yeah, sometimes you have specific versions that are only in a certain region.
So in this case, this is the UK as an example. It's only monitors, but as you can see, the monitor types are mentioned on the page, even divided up into curved or esports, which are non-curved, just regular flat monitors.
They're actually using one of those monitors right now.
Yes, exactly. I am at the moment using the MAG 272 CQR, so it's this one to highlight as well. There are more products, depending on your country, more products that participate in this offer. But in the UK, for example, it's monitors. Let me switch back to, forgive the gibberish, but I happen to know that in the Netherlands, I think all the product categories are represented. That can be, but again, check for your country which apply, because we also are using one of the K series water cooling, the liquid cooling, the core liquids.
Yeah, the K360 is in there.
That's the 360 because of course it has a 360 millimeter.
It's in the front of the case, so maybe a bit hard to see, but you can see the tubes in front of the
indeed, it's here,
memory, and of course the block with the LCD screen.
The display, indeed. Maybe later on I can try and see if I can fire up Droid Cam to give you a close-up view. We also have power supplies and one case actually. So I'll show you. These are the components that are available in the Netherlands for this promotion. So again, a lot of the monitors, a few different ones or more than in the UK, different models. But also you can see the liquid cooling. So some of the core liquid cooling.
New S series as well.
Yeah, these are the newest ones. So the S series, I think you featured recently, right? It was very
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So that one is really new as well. So it's not, it's quite new products there. And our power supplies, the 850 watt and the 750 watt version.
A850 GF, I believe, is in there.
Yes, indeed. So the A850 GF is in this one. And of course, the chassis we're looking at here is the actual Quietude 100S. But again, this is in the Netherlands, and so just know that there are more.
Check for your specific region because it may differ.
Click
It may
your
be
country,
more, it may be
and
less.
you'll see which products are eligible. And if you're planning on buying some of these products anyway, hey, you can at least get a free game with it. So that's pretty nice, right? So I did want to draw your attention to that, of course, and then of course there's also a different. Promotion going on, but I think that's difficult. I don't have the link ready here, but that's an AMD bundle, which is specifically for the card that's in this build. That's the RX 6900 XT. Only on that card. If you buy that card, any version of it, through AMD's, I think it's called Raise the Game bundle, you can also claim a free copy of Far Cry 6. So that's not related to MSI directly, that's an AMD bundle. And then they even have another one where I think there's certain combinations of Ryzen processors with any RX 6000 series GPU also makes you eligible to claim Far Cry 6, and I think even a second game there as well. So
and it's also a very nice combination to play this game on.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you know, the thing is, if you're if you're planning on upgrading or buying some of this stuff anyway, yeah, we don't want you guys to miss out on a free, really great game as well. So yeah, check it out if you're planning on buying some of this stuff.
See, Indre Kuni is saying, I've played all versions of Far Cry with Far Cry 6.
Yeah, I was
clips
reading
are
that.
Insanely crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also a little bit violent at certain points.
Yeah, well, it's a first-person shooter, not a first-person hugger. I mean, I don't know if there's...
Yeah, I've seen some scenes with a machete. Those are pretty brutal.
Well, you know, this isn't the most violent game that we've shown on this live stream. I remember certain scenes of Mortal Kombat 11.
And we also had Resident Evil. That one was also Resident Evil Village. Also had some serious scenes.
I mean, you know, some of these games they do have. I remember even not specifically visual gore, but like. In the language as well. What was that game again that we used for the serial typist?
Typing of the Dead.
Typing of the Dead was the thing. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, it was hilarious. I wasn't expecting quite that much profanity in the game like that. Anyway. Oh dear, I may have to restart the PC because it says it can't hook into some of the applications. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, just
while you restart it, maybe shortly talk about what you have in front.
Well, maybe not, because first I want to show you guys what you can win today. So if you can switch back to the, other than of course copies of Far Cry 6, but Ubisoft has helped us to one-up and give you access to a collector's edition. So we're giving away one collector's edition today, which includes all the really cool stuff that you see on the screen, like a little flamethrower there as well, but also of course a lot of cool stuff from the lore, a complete map, a key chain with Chorizo, I think he's called, the little dog with the, I think, well, I guess he doesn't have any back legs anymore, so his owner gave him, I think it's Philly, his owner is called, or his boss, and he gave him little wheels, really cute. But yeah, all this cool stuff, but also, of course, the base game you get the season pass with 3 DLCs and more, and you get the ultimate pack. So again, the overview here, so you can see you get pretty much everything you can possibly get in the game right now, so that's really cool. Yeah, also maybe I can highlight this. I kind of looked it up, what are the PC specs for Far Cry 6. So you've got a whole thing about this. This used to be simple. You have like minimum specs, recommended specs, but now you have these things for ray tracing off, ray tracing on, and anyway.
Yeah, it got a little bit more complicated.
Yes. Yeah.
But also the minimum specs, like graphics cards from that era, that's like when they started on the game. RX 460, 960, that's approximately correct 5 years ago.
Yeah. So indeed, the minimum specs are RX 460 or a GTX 960, 4 gigs of memory, or the CPU Ryzen 3 1200, so basically first gen Ryzen, right? And or an Intel i5 4460, right? I think that's how we called them back then.
Yeah, 4460.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, 8 gigs of RAM, which I think most people on most systems will probably have that by now if you're kind of if you're into the gaming scene. Storage 60 gigs. That's quite a bit. But you can also get the HD texture packs. So we've also applied those.
But But for
later on
those,
the
you
stream.
do need a really beefy graphics card with, I believe, at more than 11 gigs of VRAM.
Yeah, it says at least 11 gigs of
Yeah.
VRAM that you need. Yes, correct. So yeah, you guys can look it back if you have specific questions. Operating system. I mean, I love that it says Windows 10. You know, to a 20H1 or newer, but 64-bit only. But I think I guess Windows 11 is also probably will work, but it's not specifically mentioned. But yeah, it's one of those things.
Newer. It says or newer. Maybe they were also
Yeah,
referring to Windows 11.
But it's not Windows 10 or newer.
No.
It's Windows 10 specific update, you know, or newer. So it's anyway. It's always tricky.
Eversy Eagle is asking on Twitch, are you going to use HD
Yes.
textures today? Yes, Peter will be.
I am.
I won't be,
No.
because the graphics card I will be using doesn't have more than 11 gigabytes of VRAM, so I cannot use it. But Peter will definitely use it, because he's using an RX 6900 XT
Yes.
with 16 gigabytes.
Mike's PC will actually be using this one, and I think we can talk a little bit about it now. So yeah, today actually was the launch day of the Radeon RX
Is the launch day.
6600. Sorry?
Is the launch day.
Yeah, today is the launch day, or was the launch day. Well, it has been for us for a little while. As you probably know, we get these launch dates usually in advance, so we know about them. So for us, it's like, oh yeah, that was today. Anyway, it also makes it difficult sometimes to remember what can I talk about and what not yet.
Well, now we can talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. So today we can talk, but also, I mean, usually the date of announcing a graphics card by AMD or NVIDIA and having the reviews come online, there's usually a little bit of time in between. In this case, there wasn't. So it's all on the same day. So also today, if you want to know more about this card, I'm going to show you guys some media reviews and benchmarks later on as well. But yeah, all the information is out now. You can find it. We have one model on the market, which is the Mac 2X. As you can see, it's called 2X because it has two fans, of course. It doesn't have any RGB. It's our entry-level model, and yeah, that's the only model at the moment that we have. Let me take you through the basic specs before handing it over to Michiel. As you can see, I've taken the AMD launch slides as well, just to give you an overview. So yeah, this is basically built for 1080p gaming. Built for the biggest games of the year, day one ready. Of course, their drivers. I mean, AMD has stepped up quite big with Radeon with their drivers compared to a long time ago when there usually was a little bit of issues every time a new game or a new driver came up or new hardware. So now, yeah, it all just seems to work without a hitch. So that's perfect. It does have smart access memory also. Which is now also supported on the 5000 series even, so even if you have last generation's cards. Fidelity Effect Super Resolution, yeah, I mean, this is an ever-growing ecosystem. Far Cry 6 is also one of the newer games that includes it. We talked about it earlier in the stream with Stephanie, so the lead 3D designer for Far Cry 6.
Programmer, not designer.
Sorry, yes. Sorry. But yeah, 50 games and growing fast. And as she mentioned, it's actually quite easy to implement. And I mean, it seems that AMD was completely accurate about that indeed, which has surprised me because it does sound quite complex. Yeah, Windows 11 optimized with AMD software, of course. I mean, yeah, you would expect nothing less. Even though Windows 11 just came out recently. Just a quick overview, because here's the current lineup of all the RX 6000 GPUs. Just to put it into context as well, I mean, this is on the on this end of the scale, so it's at the most entry-level card in the 6000 series at the moment. Yeah, compared to its bigger brother, the 6600 XT, which we featured a while ago. This is it is still RDNA 2 architecture, 7 nanometers TSMC. Instead of 32 compute units or ray accelerators, because it usually has the same number of CUs as ray accelerators, this one has 28. And this also means that the core count has been reduced from 2048 to 1792. It does still retain the full 32 megs of Infinity Cache, It also still gets the 8 gigs of GDDR6, same as the 6600 XT, with a 128-bit memory bus. However, because the memory is clocked slightly lower than the 6600 XT, it does have slightly lower bandwidth, so that's where that difference comes from. However, as you can see, it's a slight. I think it's top of my head, like was it like 13% less? So it is a difference, not that huge. One of the huge differences, though, with most of the 6000 series graphics card is that this one, just like the 6600 XT, also only has a ×8 PCIe connector. So that means that it only uses 8 lanes maximum.
But just for comparison's sake, 8 lanes of PCI Express Gen 4
yes.
offers the same bandwidth as
Yes.
16 lanes PCI Express Gen 3.
However, keep in mind that if you have a system or a motherboard with that still uses PCIe 3.0, it will only be able to use 8 lanes of PCIe Gen 3 as well. So it won't be able to switch to ×16 then. Now, in most cases, probably, especially at
for a mid-range card, that's
exactly.
still okay.
You're probably not going to notice that or run into any issues really, but it is worth noticing because that is a technical differentiation and limitation that it has. Both the reduction in core counts and compute units and the basically the lower clock speed of the DDR6 memory means that the TDP compared to the 6600 XT is lower. It's 28 watts lower. So instead of 160 watts, as you can see, it's 132 watts. So yeah, all in all,
for that power envelope, it's still a pretty strong card.
Yes.
I've been trying out a little bit of Far Cry already this afternoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will also be playing on it. So can I already collect the card?
Yes. Well, yeah, yeah. Let's do that. But yeah, I mean, also it still gets the full complement of 8 gigs of GDDR6. So that also, I mean, for a mid-range card, indeed, that's still pretty good, pretty decent. Means you can still run a lot of games, especially for the resolution it's meant for, which is 1080p. We can already move to the benchmarks a little bit. This is the benchmark that AMD provided with the launch of this product. And as you can see here, that in most games on 1080p max settings, you can see that in pretty much all of these games, it at least has more than 60 FPS. And this includes Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Battlefield 5, COD, Black Ops Cold War, even Cyberpunk, which is ridiculously heavy on the GPUs. Anyway, you can see them in the benchmark there. And they are, of course, comparing it to the 3060 with resize bar, and on their 6600 they're also using the SAM or Smart Access Memory feature, which will help to boost it, of course, a bit. So yeah, pretty nice as it looks like. And yeah, if we compare that to this is the overview from the review that we saw from TechSpot. I actually forgot to include their logo here. Usually I do that, so sorry guys. But yeah, excellent work that these guys do. So on the 12 game average, you can see on the left side 1080p. There you can see, on a 12 game average, it still has over 100 FPS. So that's really nice, and it compares to, it's just a little bit slower than the 3060 according to those benchmarks. It really depends on which games you benchmark as well. As you can see, of course, AMD will pick a lot of games that will favor their GPU. So yeah, but it's very much in the same ballpark.
Did you see that? I already started the game.
Yes, yeah. You bastard, you started without me. All right, but it's a card that's really meant for 1080p, but even on 1440p, as you can see on the 12 game average, it still gets above 60 FPS on average. So again, if you have really heavy games like, I don't know, Cyberpunk, I mean, it's ridiculously, but still, you'll probably struggle to get over 60 FPS at 4040p. But at 1080p, it should still be okay. So yeah, if you are a 1080p gamer, this is a pretty good card for you, a good option. Oh, so a couple of monitors.
I have to switch in between monitors.
Yeah. All right, no worries. I hope we're still live, but all right.
Should be good.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, like I mentioned, we have one card so far, which is the Mech 2X, so named because of the two fans that it has. These are Torx 3.0 fans, I believe.
I just put it on my system, so I'm currently running with 3950X, so that's still a very high-end CPU, but from the previous generation, 16 gigs of RAM on an X570 Unify motherboard. Peter will be running an extremely high-end system today. Let me quickly show you with the MPG X570S Edge Wi-Fi motherboard with the AMD Ryzen 9 5950X, so the 16-core model, the highest end model in the 5000 series. He's using 32 gigabytes of RAM, DDR4 3600, and of course the RX 6900 XT graphics card.
And a whole lot of RGB.
And a whole lot of RGB.
Inferno is asking, link for promo code didn't load the right way. Any chance for a link just for that? Do you mean, I'm not sure what you mean by the promo code. Do you mean the landing page for the bundle, or? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Let us know what you mean, because then we can see if we can provide you indeed with the proper link, maybe in the chat.
VRK is asking who's going to play Far Cry 6, Mike or Peter. We're both going to play Far Cry.
Yes,
I think we're trying out co-op, right?
We're going to attempt it.
Yeah. Well, you will be seeing Peter's point of view, but I will try to join his game.
Exactly. Well, yeah, we wanted to show my point of view mostly because, then that prevents a lot of...
Yeah, because Peter is, of course, using the RX 6900 XT, so he'll be able to show all the cool visual effects with still very decent frame rates. So also with the ray tracing, everything on ultra, maybe switching motion blur off still.
Yeah, I can take you guys through the settings, of course, as well.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me first see if we've enabled this correctly, because I also want to show you guys in real time, of course, what the performance is like on this system. And as you can expect, you would hope that the performance is really good, and I can already tell you it is. What did I want to? Oh yeah, the toggle. Here we go. So this way, it allows me with a hotkey to just apply everything in the game. Now, as I've mentioned, and pretty much as the title of this stream goes, we're really here also to show you the functional RGB, which means that in MSI Center and as part of the ecosystem of Mystic Light, which is our RGB software and ecosystem, we have also something called Ambient Link. So within our MSI Center, this is a brand new beta test version as well. Kind of a disclaimer here, for Far Cry 6 it works, but it's still a work in progress. So we've asked our software team to provide a test version, so we could show you this already in the stream, but it's not final yet. So some things might still be bugged, some things might not work yet at all.
Right now the effects are still limited in certain situations, but that will expand over time.
Exactly. Anyway, for you guys, we're also going to explain how to set something like this up. We've done this in previous streams as well, but we'll give you the quick version. You've got basically 2 levels of RGB support. So you've got basically your native PC components, like the graphics card, the CPU cooler, the motherboard, everything connected to the motherboard, so case fans, for example, or whatever you connect to the motherboard's RGB headers. The case itself, of course, can also contain a lot of RGB. You've got the peripherals, keyboard, mouse, headset, and I'm going to call the monitor a peripheral in this case as well. Because some of these monitors, of course, they have either like a RGB on the front or on the back. Most of them will be on the back. And all of this RGB can be synced up. And this is like the stuff that is in or near your PC. But of course, then you've also got this other, this external factor basically of other stuff that you can include, which includes, for example, the nano leaf behind me, which you can see right here, or any Philips Hue elements as well. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to set up Philips Hue as well, but we have managed to set up the nano leaf, and I hope to God it continues working, because at the moment it's not showing up, but I may have to reconnect it. Like I said, this is a beta version, so not everything works correctly or may work correctly yet. And the nice thing is that you have like Ambient Link itself is basically the name of saying you can connect to third-party products like Nanoleaf and Philips Hue. And you can include those in the RGB experience. So whether that be, you want everything to go full rainbow, or watching a movie, for example, and you want everything to, it's like Ambilight, you want everything to color along with that movie. The same thing you can do in a game. Here you have what's called Ambient Mode. Now, Ambient Mode is basically just saying, all right, I want a predetermined effect, which is almost all of them. But there are two of them which are more reactive. So audio will, or should react to any music, for example, that you're playing. So you can have like the whole room, including Nanoleaf, Philips Hue, reacting to your music, or movie, which is meant to basically function like an Ambilight type of feature, where basically it will adopt the colors that are showing on the screen to help set the mood and kind of immerse you into it. With game mode, you can see it's certain games that are supported. And by clicking this toggle, basically game sync, and you can even click select which games you want to link to or not. In this case, Far Cry 6 will also be supported. It's not supported yet in a public release. Again, it's still work in progress. And by doing that, it will then start reacting to in-game events. And you can actually see that. So when you click on the game itself, here we go. I think this works for every game. Let me just check.
Yeah,
here
you
we
can
go.
set per game, and you can also adjust what you want with
exactly. But yeah, if you're wondering, all right, so what kind of effects or what kind of events can I expect to trigger light effects? You actually have a full list here of game events that will trigger effects. We've tested most of these, but not all of them work yet. A lot of them do. But yeah, and you can actually get a preview by, for example, an explosion should offer this effect. So you can actually see per component what it will do. So the keyboard will have these waves of RGB of red coming through. The components inside the PC will be more, solid flashing red and going on and off like a breathing effect. The Nanoleaf will, as a whole, also start flashing, and Philips Hue would do the same if we had been able to connect it. Now, there is some degree indeed of customization, so you can change the color if you want. But it is, I think, limited to the colors you see here. So you can't really say, all right, I want pink or something in this case.
So today we're using the system itself and Nanoleaf. If you're also curious about Hue, we've also been doing that in the past. If you look at our earlier RGB All the Things MSI Insider live stream, there you can see it with the full ecosystem, also with the Philips Hue included in there. And
in a way different time setting, because if I remember correctly, that was in a different room with far less advanced equipment than we have now. Anyway, we also looked it back, and it was one of those moments that you're like, oh, really? Did it look like that back then?
I think we played Assassin's Creed Odyssey by then.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you've got different effects for different things. Poisoning, for example, if you want that green, because poison is green in your mind. In the game, the thing that poisons you actually is like red mist. So it's actually well chosen, the red color. If you die, of course, and as you can see, I mean, the effects will change depending on the component that's executing it. On a Nanoleaf even as well, it goes like from a central position and then radiates outward. Mini game wins or losses. If you get spotted by an enemy, and this, what this does really is that, normally you can see this stuff on the screen, right? Oh, you get spotted by an enemy, oh, you get a notification. But if the whole room starts blinking red or something, it kind of really adds to the ominous atmosphere that you think, oh crap, that's not good. And the same goes for pretty much everything. Even if you've completed a mission, and then in Far Cry, that means you have the enemy colors, as you will see, is like red on the map, and your color is blue. So when you change when you complete a mission or you capture a settlement or a checkpoint, and you convert it to basically a friendly one. It will go from red to blue. So yeah, then it's nice that you have this blue effect going, to confirm that, all right, yeah, you've actually captured it and it's your color now. It's safe. Yeah, and there's a whole lot of different things here if you use a gadget. And as you can see again, the thing I like about the keyboard as well is it's the most detailed one because it's more like per key.
Yeah, you got like every individual LED.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, this also goes for MSI laptops with RGB or addressable RGB keyboard. So that will also work, of course. And a lot of our laptops have really cool, not just on the keyboard, but also even the light bar in front of the keyboard. So yeah. This looks really cool on a laptop as well. I already had this one. The phone. I was wondering what this one meant because to me this looks like off. This just looks great, like grayed out. Anyway, we're gonna see that in the game later on as well. Even the menu loading does something. The menu, when you go into the menu, but also loading has its separate effect. So even though loading usually is a boring thing, this makes it a little bit more interactive or less boring, let's say. Anyway, change. Yeah, so like I said, you can change some of the colors of some of the events. I'm going to see if I can reacquire the nanoleaf. Which hopefully should work. Yep. Yes. There we go. So it has reacquired them. And then, of course, this is a good example, I think. If you do have these compatible products like Nanoleaf or Philips Hue, they will show up as such, and you can, it will show up as linked. So that basically means they're now connected to the ecosystem, and they will sync up with the rest of the RGB show. RGB game sync is on. All right. Yeah, let's get into it. While I start the game, I think because time is going by so fast, I think we can see if we can select another winner for a Far Cry 6 game code.
Draw another one.
Because
so if you haven't participated yet,
we want more people to experience this game.
Yeah. You can go to msi.com/2/insider. There you can perform certain actions. The more you perform, the bigger chance you will have to win. And also, if you're a returning visitor, make sure to claim your loyalty bonus to have a slight edge in the giveaway.
Oh yes, yeah, basically it's a point system, and the more points you have in the back end by either performing actions or claiming loyalty bonus points, the better your chance of winning statistically. That's it. In the meantime, I'm going to see if later on I can also show you guys some of this really nice RGB setup in with Droid Cam as well. We'll fire that up later. So yeah, as you can see right now, all the RGB is off because the game is starting up. So it's already kind of detecting, all right, the game is starting. So this is part of the game sync. Normally, and in the eventual version, probably this will then now function as an ambient, like ambi light. So basically to show the colors that are prevalent on screen. But right now that feature has not been included yet, sadly. But that's how it worked in with other games as well. So Mike, yeah, if you want, you can already switch back to, wow, what is this? Switch back to the game. My mouse cursor was limited.
I have our next winner for the giveaway, so please note this is a game code for Far Cry 6, not yet the collector's edition.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And it's a complicated name, so this one's for you, Peter.
Oh, good. I like that.
Are you able to read it?
Oh no, can you either my
I will make
eyes,
it a little bit bigger. There we go.
Azarok's Cane.
Congratulations.
Was that really that difficult? Azarok's Cane.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Congratulations.
Every word with an X is difficult, don't you know that?
Sorry?
Every word with an X is difficult.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Anyway.
Yeah, so please keep an eye on your mailbox. We will email the code to you in the coming days.
Yes. So I'm wondering, actually, maybe you can switch to, to this. I'm wondering what the hell is going on in my game. Because as you see my cursor, right? And there's like an invisible bar or something. I can't go to the right there. Which is alright. I mean, I can still access the menu items, but obviously something is not quite going as it should. So I'm just going to quit the desktop and see if I can start the game again. Not quite sure what's going on there. I mean, everything seems normal here. Let's just start it again and see what happens. I mean, it is, we are live, and this didn't happen while testing, so it does make sense that something like this happens now.
Always happens while you're live. That's just the way it goes.
Yes, it's the rules, I don't make the rules, I just work here.
Let me quickly move to this one. You see in the bottom left what's happening.
What?
I believe in the menu you should start seeing the Ambient Link feature.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You switched it on, right?
Yeah, I did. Here you go. So it's already everything is lighting up in red. The weird thing is that I'm not sure if this is the right color showing. I mean, again, this is it's like boosted in terms of color, but behind me it's more like I would say an orange pinkish color. But it looks quite bright green on the screen there, so it's not 100% accurate. Again, we're trying some new stuff.
It looks green for you? For me, it's kind of orange.
What, on the screen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm colorblind. Did I mention that?
I think everyone just noticed.
Well, I don't know. It has a really bright color. Like, I mean, just compared to what I'm seeing here in real life, but that happens when you're boosting stuff massively. Anyway,
yeah, we had to do that to make it a little bit more visible. It was hard with our camera settings because we're also chroma keying, of course.
Yeah.
With the green screen. So I will be switching my monitor from the chat to the gameplay so I can join. That means only Peter will be able to see chat.
Mr. Masterdox says looks yellow.
Yellow, but more like orange yellow than green yellow.
Yeah. More like orange, yellow, blue, pink,
purple,
RGB. What? Okay. Anyway. I wanted to show you guys because if you are looking, if you have this game later on or already have it, and you're looking for the Mystic Light options, it's in the menu. Wait, let me go back. In the menu options. And then there's third party here, and there you can see MSI Mystic Light. So this is specifically developed, and I think this is already in the game, even though the MSI Center with Far Cry 6 support is not publicly available yet. Again, it's still in development, but I think this is already baked into the game. And why it's in the game is probably because this is basically it's our cooperation with Ubisoft, with their studio, with their developers, and they have to kind of enable certain cues that you can read out, that our software can read out, basically. So when a specific event happens, our software can then read out like with an event ID, and then it can say, oh right, oh okay, this is a level up, or oh you've captured a checkpoint. Okay. Then I need to display this effect. So that's already baked into the game. It's really now our software that's still in development to optimize and make everything compatible as well, make everything work with it. So you'll probably already see this in the game. Even though MSI Center doesn't support it yet. Looking at our settings, video settings.
By the way, while you're explaining, I have to do a mission because it says I need to do this mission before we can play co-op.
Oh, yeah. You do that. Let me know how long I need to keep talking.
Yeah, so if I'm distracted, just tell me when I have to switch to another scene or something, then I'll wake up again.
Exactly. All right, so basically I've left everything pretty much on default. As you can see, the VRAM it says it's going to use about 4 out of 16 gigs. I'm not sure because I did download the HD texture pack, but I'll see later on in the settings if that actually is applied or not. As you can see, the GPU I'm using is a 6900 XT. Refresh rate of this monitor is 165, so I'm going to put it there. Full screen, of course, 1440p, because I also want to show you guys FSR later on, and yeah, that's works best with 1440p. Yeah, only one display, even though it's going to the capture card as well. So functionally, I have two displays, but they are duplicated. And yeah, normal display ratio, aspect ratio. Let me apply these changes to make sure we have the right refresh rate. Yep. Okay. Quality. So, graphics quality, well, we promised Stephanie that we would put everything on Ultra, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So yeah, the Ultra preset, HD textures, here we go, on. And here you can see, actually, it was, I already noticed this before. I was a bit surprised because it says when you install the game and you get the choice to also download the HD texture pack, it says that it's recommended or you require a 11 gig VRAM card. However, when you turn it on in the game, it goes from functionally 4.2 gigs of use to 5.2. So, yeah. Anyway, let's turn it on because we have 16 gigs of VRAM in this beast. So, of course, we want to use that. We've got TAA on, and yeah. Later on, fidelity effects will also... Okay, is turned on already, it looks like. Alright, we'll need to look into that. Motion blur. I'm sorry, whoever did this, motion blur, whoever put their time into it, I'm sure it looks great, but I'm not a fan. I don't think that's a secret. Camera shakes. Normally, I would put this to minimum as well. For now, I'm just going to leave it on full. Poisoned and drunk effects. Yep, full experience, so let's do it.
By the way, I just found out that in the game, horses cannot swim.
Yeah, I don't know. I know seahorses, but...
But a regular horse cannot swim in Far Cry.
What were you trying to do? Sail to an island on it?
Well, I wanted to take the shortcut. Didn't work.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Anyway, extended features. So here we've got all the DXR and fidelity effects, CAS, or I think that's, what was it? Image, adaptive sharpening indeed. Contrast adaptive sharpening. For now I'm going to leave this off, and later on in the game I'm going to turn them on so you guys can see the difference. Let's see if this changes anything. Yeah, so this also slightly increases the reflections and shadows. Yeah. Shadows as well, slightly increases the use of VRAM, or at least the prediction of it. Actually, maybe we can turn that on in Afterburner, so that we can actually see in real time how much VRAM is being used. Now, is this the memory? Yeah, I think this is the memory usage of the graphics card, so let's put that on. Yeah. And so then we can monitor it in real time. I hope this is in the top right corner. I hope this is big enough for you guys to see. Actually, I might make it a little bit bigger, just to make sure that you guys can clearly see it. There we go. That should do it. So it's a little bit bigger. Yeah. So yeah, for now I'm going to start without ray tracing on, just to get the rasterized performance. I have put everything on Ultra though. Oh, I have to restart the game, it seems like, because of some of the settings. Yeah, everything else is pretty much stock settings. So also VSync off, of course, because yeah, we want to hit that 165 Hertz. Field of view, I heard, Mike, you already changed that. Yeah. I may change it as well later on, but who knows.
I thought it was quite narrow, the view 75 degrees.
Yeah. Alright, so here is the adaptive resolution. So this is really super resolution. Yeah, here you can turn it on. And then you can choose, you've got the ultra quality preset, quality, balanced, or performance. So we can switch through these later on, of course. First we're going to start off without using FSR. This card should be able to handle it, no issues. So yeah. Actually, you know what? While Mike is doing that mission, what I'll do is I can do a benchmark instead. So with these settings, I'll just start a benchmark. And then we can also see in real time what's how the system performs. No codes in the live chat? No, we don't do that. We have...
Eric sometimes does.
Yeah, I know, he's done it in the past, but yeah, we're not a big fan of that because, you know, it's difficult to... It goes so fast, you know, yeah, we prefer, you know, choosing one lucky winner, and then there's no rush, there's no big rush to try and claim the code as fast as possible, and if you're not fast enough, then too bad. You know, if you win it fair and square, it's yours, and you can take all the time to claim it. As you can see here, I mean, the GPU, well, not a big surprise, not getting very hot, even though the case is completely closed, by the way, and it's a quietude. I really can't hear the build. 90%, 94% usage. It's not completely fully utilizing all of the performance. CPU, I mean, this is the overall number. This thing has, what was it, 16 cores?
Yeah.
So, yeah, doesn't paint a complete picture, but also the cooling there is pretty good. Memory usage also wasn't that bad. Yeah, it was about what the predictions said it would do, so that's about 5.2. And the frame rate, let's see, well, on average, yeah, over 100. And this is, remember, with everything on Ultra, the only thing that we haven't turned on really is, well, motion blur, 1, and 2, ray tracing. Minimum FPS, it dipped down into the 87. So yeah, that's not bad at all. I would consider that a pretty decent experience, especially with everything on Ultra. I mean, if you really want to consistently get to the 165, you know, hit your refresh rate of your monitor, you could turn some of the settings down slightly, but you don't have to sacrifice much, which, to be honest, you wouldn't expect for a 6900 XT. Okay. So now I'm going to turn ray tracing on. Let's see, where was it? Yes. So all of the ray tracing, yes. And I'm wondering if I should turn adaptive sharpening on. Yeah, why not? Let's just turn all of this on and test it again in the benchmark and see how we go. Here we go. So we're already, again, we're already above 100 FPS at the start. And as I remember from the last run, yeah, the start has the highest FPS count. So, of course, we're expecting some impact from the, ooh, that was a dip. Some impact from the ray tracing that we've just enabled, which is ray trace reflections and shadows. And this, remember, this is without using FSR. So yeah, no super resolution applied just yet. But it is using CAS or adaptive sharpening. So still quite close. It's well above 90 FPS on average, but let's see how we go. 110 max. Average is gonna end up, yeah, above 90. So we did notice that, as you can see here, there's a really sharp dip. So I'm not sure what happened there. Might be a little hiccup because I'm also running a couple of things in the background. Maybe also with sometimes, for example, an application trying to hook into it, like Afterburner, may cause that. But yeah, overall it only happened once, luckily. But yeah, minimum FPS 50. I think, yeah, see, that was that big dip. So without that, we would have ended up quite near 100 probably FPS, or well over 90, 95, 96 probably at least. So yeah, still pretty nice. So I mean, the impact of enabling ray tracing is there, but it's not that high, to be honest. Now let's enable FSR. Here we go, and put it on ultra quality. See if you can even spot the difference. I mean, this is on 4040p, right? So this, I'm not sure, it doesn't say how it will render it, but I think starting at 4040p it will render it in full HD, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. Again, it differs per game how it does that. It's loading everything. Here we go. All right, so still nicely above 100. Everything looks quite crisp to me. Yeah, I can see the ray tracing in the puddles as well. I mean, Stephanie was mentioning it indeed with the weather effects and how everything reacts to getting wet. So here you can really see that the glaze of the wet roads, and also the volumetric. Well, I don't want to say fog because it's not really fog, but the effect, the God rays of the sun moving through it. Really nice how the Molotov cocktail being thrown, you can also follow it on the reflective surface on the ground there, on the wet surface. Yeah, so slightly higher FPS. I mean, it's ultra quality preset of FSR, so you're expecting it to have some impact, but still, it's the highest visual quality option that you have. We're already up to 7 gigs of memory usage, so yeah, it builds over time, I think. So at the start it may not be quite as much, but yeah, the more you go through the game, the more stuff obviously gets rendered and loaded into your memory. Let's see, ultra quality. Let's now go for balance, as I want to see if we can make a bigger jump and see if we can really spot the difference, both in performance but also in visual quality. So this is FSR on the balanced preset. As you see, it's off the bat, it's quite a bit higher FPS. Oh, now it's actually getting quite close to what it was previously. In terms of visual quality, there is a difference, and it just looks a little bit less sharp. It's like, you know, motion blur is on or something, maybe. No, not motion blur, but there's like a little bit of blur there. And to be fair, it's being rendered at a quite lower resolution than it was before. And then, of course, upscaled. But yeah, it still looks pretty decent and pretty good. Of course, everything, all the other graphics presets are still on ultra, so you would still affect that. And of course, ray tracing is still on, both reflections and shadows. Yeah, look at that Molotov. That's really nice that you can follow it over the wet surface of the road. Yeah, so on average, actually, yeah, there doesn't seem to be that much of a, at least for the average FPS, it's still quite in the same ballpark as before. So it's not a huge difference, at least in the benchmark. I think the maximum FPS that we reached gets quite a bit higher. I am wondering where the minimum came from, because I didn't notice, and I don't see it in the graph either, any dip to 50 or something. So in this benchmark, I didn't really see it reaching 50 FPS, because that should have been like here, if it did actually go there. So that's quite strange. Also, I didn't notice it, so it may have done it for like a fraction or like a single frame, but I honestly didn't see it. And then of course we've got the performance. So this is the most aggressive form of FSR. So I'm guessing that we're going to see a big visual impact from this, which would be what you'd expect, but also a bit more performance out of it. Yeah, the water. Well, yeah, actually, it still looks pretty nice. It's a little bit more fuzzy indeed, a little bit more blurry in some areas. But on the whole, it's not as blurry. Ah, okay, yeah, the lines of the power lines and stuff. That's where you really start to see it. And in the distance as well, and some of the moving edges that you can really see, it's trailing behind there, missing some detail. Yeah, especially in the distance with the trees, the foliage, grass. Yeah, you see there's some detail missing, of course, but it doesn't detract too much from the overall atmosphere, I have to say. It's not as distracting as I would have expected for the most aggressive setting of FSR. I mean, it is definitely noticeable, but it's not quite as noticeable as I thought it would be. And here again, you can see the. This is surprising. I really wonder how this works into the benchmark, because again, the average FPS stays the same pretty much. It's quite consistent. And the maximum FPS is actually lower than it was in the higher setting of FSR. So, yeah, that's surprising. Didn't expect that. And also, I mean, again, the benchmark usually, it's meant to be consistent, of course, and to give you some indication of what you can expect. But in the game, it will be different again. So, Mike, how far along are you with the mission?
I think pretty far.
Yeah?
It's quite a hard mission, actually.
Really?
Yeah, but I set it to not to story mode. I set it to the action mode, so I think that kind of increases the difficulty.
So did I, but anyway.
It's a long mission.
It's meant to be enjoyed as well, right? And you're trying to rush through it like, yeah, come on, let's
steal a car to speed things up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm going to turn FSR off at first. And again, I'm going to leave everything on ultra for now, and HD textures on. Reflections on as well, so all the ray tracing. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into the game for now, while we wait for Mike to finish the mission as well. And I can already show you some of the things in the game itself, of course, but also maybe some.
Let me switch to this one, then people can see what you do and how the system responds.
Yeah. What can you win, Stick Gamer? You can win copies of Far Cry 6, as you can see up here, and even one collector's edition, which includes a really nice little flamethrower. What are you doing?
No, I'm looking why the nav leaf is currently green, because I think it's just off right now.
It's off,
right?
yeah. So, but that's the overset. That's because my hand looks freaking reddish like this as well. So it's overcompensating a bit while it's off, indeed. I can show you a little bit of what happens. Here you go. If you go into a menu, any menu, like now, this is the main menu of the game. All the different products RGB respond, even on the mouse. This is a GM50, Clutch GM50, which has also some RGB at the bottom here. Also, my keyboard is completely lit up in red. There's a whole lot of light in here, so it may not be quite as visible, but we'll have to make do. But as you can see, even the RAM sticks here, you can see these are compatible with the MSI Mystic Light ecosystem. So they also change to red. The graphics card here, the 6900, and the case fans. There are even case fans on top of here, which I can show later on, maybe with Droid Cam and the liquid cooling, which is on this side. But yeah, I can't really turn the PC because it's all hooked up to cable, so I would probably disconnect something. And this case, the Quietude, also, as you can see here, has a really nice RGB strip, which also, it's addressable, so it will also interact and change color dynamically with the rest. And it also has a little bit of RGB under the front here that basically just shines onto the table or the surface. Anyway, this is the menu, but there are multiple things. Like, for example, if taking out the phone is like the observation mode, so you can, if there's enemies, you can tag them. We'll see that later on. That also has a certain effect, as you can see, and you can customize that. Using my ultimate ability does something, so that's I'm gonna do that now, pressing the V button, and as you can see here, yeah, stuff starts happening and blinking. Now, normally, I mean, you can see that right now, just playing the game and running around, all the lights are off, right, in the case, and also the nanoleaf. This is off, by the way. It's just white if I look behind me. And the reason for that is that the implementation of Mystic Light and the game link feature, the Ambient Link in this game, is not ready yet. It's still a work in progress. So the whole ambient feature, so basically that it will, if you're not doing anything, it's not being triggered by any events, any effects, it will just be an ambient light thing. So basically, if you look at the sky, it will turn blue. Everything, if it's a blue sky, that is. And if you look at the ground, it will start, being either brown or green or blue, whatever you see. The color that's most prevalent on the screen. But yeah, right now that's not working because, like I said, it's a work in progress. Let's see what else do we have. So the cool thing about this game is there's a whole lot of weapons. I've unlocked quite a few of them already, and one of them is a rocket launcher, which is ridiculously powerful. But yeah, there are some. These are guerrilla weapons, which basically are put together weapons with a special touch, with creative solutions of things they could find. And you've got the regular weapons, and for the regular weapons, what you can do is, you can apply specific attachments which improve the characteristics of the weapon. To be able to see those, you need to be at a workbench. You can see that later. But also the appearance. So you can basically, like skins, right? You know how it works. And some charms. So you could already see there were some bullets hanging from my gun earlier. But there are different ones. So as you play the game, you unlock these, along with a lot of those other cosmetics, but also even the upgrades. But you need resources to upgrade them. Let's see. Same goes, by the way, for your gear. So you've got here you go, like an improvised hazmat, sort of gas mask against the poison. You got a nice Crocodile Dundee hat, pretty much. You got shades, Miami strip. You've got the adventurer's helmet. Anyway, I really like this one as well, like a little crocodile helmet that I think that was one of the more recent missions that I completed that we got this one. It really looks really funny. Or a cyber eye, for example. You can be like, was it a Cable or something in one of those villains? Anyway, a lot of things. Oh yeah, this is your Supremo, which is your ultimate ability, your ultimate weapon basically, and this is made for you by a guy, an old guerrilla called Juan. And he's one of the characters where earlier Stephanie during the interview said, there's some serious aspects of the game which are, the distressing things that happen in the storyline. But some things are also, there's a lot of humor and fun in it as well. Well, Juan is one of the guys who also brings a lot of humor in. Even though it's dark things he talks about sometimes, but he does it with some dark humor as well.
I have finished the mission,
quite funny. And then you've got different types, but you need to unlock them by again playing the game, and you unlock resources which you can then use to unlock some of the variants of weapons that you can carry and upgrade them as well.
You cannot see me online yet, right?
I don't know.
Top right,
actually,
it says 0.
I didn't look. Oh yeah, that. Wait. Maybe I can see you here. Yeah, here I can see you. Usually it works best through Ubisoft if we do it like that. So I did invite you to the party. I think maybe I first need to invite you to the party and then you can show up, probably.
I just accepted your invite.
0 friends online. Aw. Hey, here we go. Yes, invite sent. So that should work.
Mine is loading now, so I think I'm loading into your game.
I hope so. We didn't test this, by the way.
I can see you.
Uh-oh. Don't touch my stuff. No. All right, so this is Mike.
Hello, hello.
Did you know you're a girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're able to choose. Which
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Let me pet that crocodile. Is that my crocodile or your crocodile?
It's our crocodile, actually. Yeah. Yeah, he's called Guapo.
Guapo.
Guapo. Yes. And he's got a really cool shirt on, as you can see. He's one of the coolest crocs I know. But yeah, you even get a pet. You can have different pets in the game that you can like send off to cause havoc or kill enemies while you're doing your missions. Anyway, oh wow, okay, look, he's going to protect us from these wolves as well, as you can see.
Oh, I can choose the way my horse looks.
Where are you? You're probably that blue dot there. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see in the game right now, and this is with everything on ultra, I'm pretty much close to 100 FPS. It's using about just over 6 gigs of VRAM. Yeah, going pretty well. Typical of Far Cry games, of course, is you start somewhere, and this is a pretty huge map. You start somewhere on one of the islands. I can't remember. I think we start on this one, and you then start.
This Juan?
Sorry?
This Juan?
This one, yes. That's actually one of the jokes made in the game at some point. But as you can see, the more you zoom in, the more you can see all the stuff going on the island and the details. But as you zoom out, it becomes a little bit less visible. And then there's a third level here as well, where you can. It's more like the what is it, like the table map mode, where you know, somewhere in the game at the beginning they also have you can see this like where they plan out how they want to reconquer their island nation of Yara. Here you can even see Operación Yara Libre. I'm probably butchering that accent, but sorry about
Probably.
that. Yeah, I'm trying. It's a genuine attempt. Anyway, and you've got the red guys here. These are the bad guys. Even though this kid here in the storyline, I don't want to spoil too much for people, but he does show like hesitation to his father. But yeah, these are the bad guys. Basically, you have to fight the end bosses of each area. So each area has their own, well, either one boss or multiple. And the blue guys, of course, are the people who will help you or help you get started to kind of take over a region. But as you can see, it's pretty big. So because I started here, and you know you can zoom in quite far there as well, and then you take over this archipelago. So it's a small, yeah, couple of islands here as your base. They also call it Libertad HQ or Libertad Island, and then you can start invading the other regions to start taking over the region basically and destabilizing it bit by bit, mission by mission. But as you can see here, I mean this island, for example, I didn't go there at all. I don't think. Here you've done a lot of work, so checkpoints or this is a weather station actually. Here's a little airstrip. Yeah, this is.
In the meanwhile, I'm taking a look at the dynamic weather.
Yeah.
Saw some.
Oh really? Okay. Let's have a look. Let's see if you have the same weather. Okay. So
Yeah, I have the same weather.
So stuff is
Thunder.
Yeah, it's going to rain now, so it's thunder indeed. Oh, you're on the horse.
I'm on a horse.
I'm on a horse. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, and everything reacts. Like suddenly it becomes gloomy, or you know, it's like a tropical storm. So you can see the palm trees, and oh, there you go, some lightning as well. I don't have sound on for myself, by the way, so I hope the sound is okay for you.
No, they should be able to hear the sound. Yeah. Please let us know if it's too loud or too soft or.
Yeah. As you can see now, it's becoming a bit like, you know, gray weather as well because it's really rainy. There's puddles forming, as you can see. So this was also what Stephanie mentioned, that you know, dynamically
I will move my horse out of the way.
Should form and disappear as well.
Oh. Oops, sorry
Ouch.
about that.
That hurt.
I didn't know that was a feature in the game.
Yes. And now it's starting to get a bit brighter again. It's still raining though, but we should be able to see, because I want to see.
We just killed this dog, by the way.
Sorry? No, the what was it? The NPC playing, walking around it.
Ah, okay.
This guy with the shotgun,
wolf,
or was it? Yeah, it's a shotgun. He did it.
It was that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, everything is still wet. And there's puddles here. So I kind of want to see, because I'm interested. And here you can also see the real time reflections of even Mike or this guy.
My horse has a reverse gear.
Yeah, of course it does. Put it in reverse. I hope it has those blinking lights as well.
No, it's a BMW horse, so it doesn't.
Ah, okay.
It's optional.
Fair enough. So let's see what happens indeed, because now it's dry, right? It's not raining anymore. Yeah, you can see the sun's out. Actually, do I see some rain still in the water there? Shooting holes in the ground.
What's that guy doing here, by the way? He's staying next to us.
Well, these are the trails. Like wherever there's blue around, these are like guerrilla trails.
Ah, okay.
So basically, you can take the main roads, but there will be a lot more hostile units, cars, and everything moving around there. If you want to be less bothered by them, you can go around on trails like this, which sometimes you'll meet enemy resistance here, or a random person on a horse or something riding around, but
like me.
yeah, but usually it's it's a lot more quiet and yeah. So yeah, I'm waiting to see if these puddles indeed will dry up and how long that takes. I hope it doesn't take too long. But I think it's already starting to dry up, because now it looks like mud. It's not really a puddle anymore, right? You can see that. Now it's just like wet mud. So yeah, this is impressive. That level of detail indeed. I didn't notice that before. Can I use the controller, Elite controller, to play? I don't know about Elite controller, but I do know that controller is supported indeed. So
I think the Elite controller is just, if it functions as an Xbox controller,
yeah,
it recognizes it.
Yeah.
So it should be okay.
Yeah.
It's X input, so I think that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. Oh, it is drying up. Wow. And I was expecting to see like pop in, pop out or something like. Suddenly it's like and now it's not wet anymore. But it's really gradual. Look at that. Because there's still a bit of wet mud, but it's not quite as much as it was a moment ago. Wow. All right. Yeah, this is very impressive.
I'm moonwalking with my horse.
All right, do it.
Ow!
Just need the music now. Oh, there's a dead animal here, I think. Yep. All right.
Oh, poor thing.
Yes. Anyway, I mean, there's way too much about this game and the story in it for me to be able to tell you in this stream alone. Even if we're talking about different things, but let's just see if we can go and do a mission. But I don't know if Mike will be able to tag along quite as effectively. Oh, there's a tobacco factory here, and in this game the tobacco is where they grow the. I don't want to spoil too much about the story, but yeah, the tobacco is where they grow stuff. They're growing stuff in tobacco, so it's not about the tobacco itself. But yeah, they found a cure for a certain disease in this game, and they grow it in tobacco, but they kind of force the people that live on the island to do that. They're forced workers. Mike, can you follow me to fast travel unavailable in combat? Am I in combat?
Are we in combat?
It does.
It does show talk to Espada in top left, by the way.
Yeah, that's because I think let's see. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Actually, can I?
And I see something on the map where we have to go.
Fast travel on. Okay.
500 meters from here.
Yeah, I know. And I was gonna say we can go there, but we should be able to fast travel there. But let's
just get on the back of my horse.
let's.
I'll bring you.
Can I? Let's see if I can get.
Sorry.
I don't think I can actually.
Can?
No.
Then get your own horse.
Yeah. Let's do that. We could be two lonesome cowboys. Where's my horse? Nope. I called for a horse.
No horse for you, my friend.
Oh, here we go.
You have to press R.
Yeah, I had to do. Oh, I can even choose the color. What the hell?
livery.
Yeah, man.
Custom livery horse.
The blue done? Yeah, let's do that. Holy crap. I custom paint my horse before. There we go. That was fast. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay, cool. Let's ride. Woohoo! Is this 1440p? Yes. This is 1440p indeed. This is without using FSR, by the way. So when we get to the camp, I'll turn FSR on to see if you really can notice the difference. This is with ray traced reflections and shadows on, by the way. So yeah, this is really cool. Montero. Who's a good boy? Oh, did you just break the fence?
Oh.
Yeah,
you can only
that's
enter
true. Yeah,
camps
you
on
can't.
foot. Okay.
Yeah, I tried driving a tank into one of the camps, and unfortunately, it just teleports you out because you can. It says you can't go. Also, did you notice? You're probably noticing it now.
Going to a third person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is also something that at first I was like, what? Did I press a button by accident? No. If you run into one of your camps, you actually go into third person mode. Yeah. So yeah, this is a person who will give us a mission.
So what's our next move, Espada?
You got any ideas?
So you get all these cutscenes, of course. At the moment I cannot hear them, and as you can see, these are in 30 FPS.
You just gonna let this happen? Long time coming, Danny.
Ooh, so you're gonna brand them.
By the way, shall we do another giveaway in the meanwhile?
Oh yeah, sure.
See, and he'll spend the rest of his life making up for it. Be ready to look in the mirror and admit your
Oh,
mistakes.
damn.
You first, Camila.
Fine. I voted for Castillo.
So if you haven't participated yet, go to msi.com/2/insider. There you will be able to perform several actions. The more you perform, the bigger chance you'll have to
I
win.
blame you for not being guerrillas,
And
but Papa was right. To get
let's
fit.
see if my drawing system is still up. Hello.
If you want to see, you have to think big. Hit him where it hurts. It's tobacco fields. We tried that already.
No.
It looks
all
like
of
I
us
have
feel
infinite
tactics.
loading
Well,
on
soldiers
my
up, leave him
Oh.
open.
price drawing system.
Well, lucky for us, Philip plans ahead. Me and the hero got you.
Ooh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's taking a
Divide
while.
our
All right.
forces.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, you
Strike
guys are
central
you're
points
following the
far
story as well, right?
in and out. And then we hit that airbase hard. Now what the fuck are we still doing here? Dale.
Maybe just refresh it. Yeah.
Yara nos mata al final, Roberto.
Well, this would be a first.
Yeah.
Al final.
Seems like we
I
can't.
think Gleam is down.
Yeah, we can't access Gleam at the moment. Maybe it's gonna load up in a minute. Ah, that's never happened before.
No.
Anyway, while loading, yeah, you guys.
While trying to.
Unfortunately, you guys can't see it, but while loading, you also get an RGB animation, of course.
The hope of the West. So you flown this? No, never.
Ah, there we go. It seems
it
like
should
it's
work, huh?
loading again.
I hope it does, at least.
Yeah.
Yep, we have our next winner.
You're gonna need my soundtrack.
Congratulations, Phalo. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but you also won a game code for Far Cry 6.
Congratulations.
So please keep an eye out on your mailbox.
Exactly.
We'll email it to you in the coming days.
You can enjoy the game yourself.
And make
soon.
sure to sign up for the giveaway now if you haven't done so, because our next winner, our final winner of today, will win the collector's edition.
Is it that time already? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's that time.
All right, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
by the way,
we'll start our
you have-
mission, and after that we will
Yes. yes. By the way,
We'll
here
draw the
you
winner of
have
the collector's edition.
the workbench, where basically it allows you. You can already see here some of the things. You've got different bullets, which are different types of units are susceptible to different types of bullets or ordnance. Let's say so. Explosive, of course, that's vehicles. Then you've got poison, which apparently is most effective against people with flamethrowers. You've got fire, which counters the people spreading the poison. You've got armor piercing, which of course is the armored units that you can face, and you've got the light infantry or the soft target bullets, which are effective against pretty much all other units. And you can basically choose. So you've got 3 primary weapons: your Supremo, your sidearm, and even your vehicle. So this is also really cool. You can pretty much customize. You can call a car, and then it will do stuff as well. What's going on? Oh, you already started the mission.
Whee! No, I'm just flying around.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I kind of teleported into it.
Oh!
I didn't know. I also didn't know it was going to do that, but that's fine. Oh yeah, I said we were going to change the graphics options and enable FSR. So I'm going to put it into quality mode, and then see how that goes. I'm not sure if I should have enabled something here, but I'm going to. I always wonder if it's actually being enabled or not, because it doesn't show me any apply option or something. But it seems like, because it's still showing, that I think this is all you need to do. By the way, in the options menu, here you can see you have controller options. So yes, controllers are definitely, and it does show an Xbox diagram of an Xbox controller. So probably, yeah, it's definitely going to be supported. And we're upside down. Nice.
Whee!
All right, so it doesn't really matter that we've turned motion blur off. This is nauseating. Holy crap! What do we need to do? Should we go to the objective? Don't
Yeah,
crash.
I'm going towards the objective.
Oh, okay.
I think you need to start gunning somewhere here.
Well, sure. If I can see where we're. Okay, here we go. No, actually, I think. Wait. Is it?
I don't know what we have to do.
Oh wait. Do we have incendiary rounds?
Well,
it
aim for
said
the fields
something-
with yellow tarp.
Yeah. Sorry? With yellow tarps. Yeah, but what? 'Cause I don't see anything. Wait a minute. There's another plane there.
Oh.
I can only shoot horizontally to the plane, by the way. So if you have him straight above you, I can't aim to hit him there. So I'm struggling to find where I'm supposed to be
I also
shooting.
have something. I have a rocket kind of thing.
Yeah, try and probably you're yeah.
Oh,
I don't think I'm supposed to do anything. I think you're supposed to be.
Why?
shooting.
I need to fly. I was hoping you could shoot.
Well, I can, but not the objective. I can shoot
Okay.
other planes, I guess, or
Let me try.
units. But honestly, I'm having trouble aligning anything. Oh, here
I
it is.
think I can do it.
Yeah. I think I'm shooting our own plane.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ow. That hurt.
Whoops.
Oh, this is the poison gas, right? The
The red stuff.
stuff, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So can we still do the objective without it?
Yeah, probably. Destroy the.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
because
with
basically the
the-
objective is to destroy the fields. Yeah, we're spotted, but I can't see. Whoa, what was that?
I don't know.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I pressed the wrong button here. Oh, button mashing. I died.
Okay. I have my. Whoa.
Yeah.
Are you setting me on fire or is that
No,
an enemy?
no, that's a bad guy.
Okay. Oh, wait. Z. They're shooting me. I'm almost dead.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I am dead.
that's the thing. Whew.
I was on
It's
fire.
actually, it's not a really easy game, guys. These missions can get quite challenging. What I think you need
Especially
to do,
when we're
Mike,
still trying to find it out.
yeah, what I think you need to do is in the airplane, and we're about to go in there again.
Okay, now you can fly.
Let me see, because I saw more airplanes there. So let me just select the right loadout for the mission. Let's take a nice rocket launcher. Did I select it? Wait. No. Wait. Oh yeah. Primary weapon 1. Equip. There we go. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yep. Let's go. Shall I fly?
The crocodile.
You want me to fly?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. By the way, I
Wait,
can't
I
see
still
the
need
chat.
to step in. I was petting the crocodile.
I can't see the chat anymore,
Okay.
so I'm not sure if you can turn that back on. Yeah. Ah, but we also have bombs, it looks like.
But I think with with shift you can. That's how I shot the fields.
Yeah, yeah, I think we need to do that. Oh, the controls for flying is kind of... I need to get used to this again.
Yeah, I had the same.
It's not the usual... at least, yeah, I don't know. It feels a bit weird.
Usually I would expect S to pull up.
Yeah, same here, but it goes
And
down
W is
and
gonna-
W...
It's probably
goes up.
something you can change in the controls, but by default.
Probably you can invert them.
Yeah.
And then the mouse also, you can also quite responsive, the mouse to do
No, I
the
haven't
same.
been using the mouse.
Okay, let me see. Can I drop the bomb on this? Well, yes.
Yep.
Holy shit, it actually works.
Billy, you're a fucking genius. Boom! Fuck yeah.
So I
But you
think we
need
need
to-
to shoot 8 of these fields.
Yeah, but we've already got 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that should be fine.
Whee!
Okay.
Oh, there's a hostile helicopter. I'll try to shoot him.
Can I, okay.
How you like that, El Pequeño? Still got
How
more
you like
to
that? Is this also one of the fields that we need to shoot? Let's see.
I think they're marked with a yellow
Oh,
thing.
I like the little, like the splinters that kind of radiate out from the blast as well. Are you able to shoot anything? 'Cause I can't see
no,
it.
I cannot see the
Ah,
helicopter
okay.
anymore.
Yeah, see, it's quite hard especially if I'm maneuvering. It's hard to aim, I think. At least what I had.
Yeah, indeed. Nice.
Lasagna. Oh, we're in a different area now, it seems. So, okay, so next one.
The
And you've
special
got-
forces are hunting us.
Yeah, you've got a special, yeah. Special forces. You've got different, there we go, that should be the last one. Now let's drop bomb, there we go. Wait, what? That didn't do anything? Oh, I think, yeah, okay.
I think it did.
Yeah, it did. It just
Our
wasn't
wanted
showing up.
level is getting higher and higher.
Nice, that's what we want. That's exactly what we want. Espada has cornered him at the airbase. Confront Jose
Yeah, we have to turn
Castillo.
around.
But I saw there was like an objective thing. Oh, that's all the way down there. I thought it was down somewhere. Oh, anyway. Can I drop some bomb on this? Boom. Well, it's really nice. Can you put the chat back on the screen, by the way, Mike? Because I can't see it.
Oh, you cannot see it?
No. I'm just seeing a.
Okay. Let me swap.
Yeah, we're using multiple monitors, so it's sometimes hard to keep track. Uh-oh. Restricted airspace. Leave or you will be shot down. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that's
Castaris is asking, does Far Cry 6 also have a Battle Royale mode? I don't think so.
Uh-oh. We need to
Not
exit the
first
vehicle. Ah! We
And
crashed.
Beach and oh, did you kill me?
No, I didn't, but we got shot down, actually.
Ah, okay.
Well,
And Peachin is asking what's wrong with Gleam. I don't know, it was down all of a sudden, but then it was up again, so it did work in the end.
yeah. Oh, where are you? We're back in the plane. Respawn is back in the plane. So I think I need to check. Because, here, see? Between where we are and our objective, there is an anti-aircraft cannon, so we need to avoid
maybe we
that.
can take that out first.
No, you need to do that when you're on the ground, actually. I've done a couple of those, but I don't think you can do that. Oh crap! I think we're already in.
Yeah, we're being shot.
Oh, exit vehicle, too late.
Yeah.
White parachute. No.
Are you still alive? I'm
yeah.
dead.
No, I'm still alive actually, yeah. Can I, let's see if I can resurrect you or something. Or can you spawn
Thanks.
on me? Oh yeah, you are.
I'm alive.
Yay! Okay, but now we've got a hell of a hike to do. Now maybe we can actually take out... By the way, one of the things I really like about this as well is you can see that the fire is actually spreading. It's not just crashing and then, you know, burning whatever, the wreck. The grass around it is actually burning and the trees will probably, may catch fire.
And you got
I'm not
that glow from the fire as well.
sure.
Let's see, where are we going?
Yeah. Well, let's see indeed. We could take out, because we've got quite a hike, but we could take out this AA cannon first. I don't know, can you see what I tag?
Let me check on the map.
No, not just on the
Yeah,
map.
I think I can.
Yeah, no, so not the golden, oh, here
No,
you
with
got
I
some
see
more.
blue
Oh,
brackets around the anti-aircraft thing.
Yeah. Wow,
Okay.
I no-scoped somebody. I had to.
360 no scope?
No, not 360. But yeah, I was just looking around and then suddenly there was this, I probably didn't notice them, but yeah, there was somebody there. Nice headshot, yeah, thanks. Co-op mode is always fun. Yeah, I agree. It's, I mean, versus mode is fun, but I prefer co-op because it's nice to chill, right? Oh, we can actually get a horse here, I think, but there is somebody. There we go.
I stole a horse.
There was a baddie here, and there's what is she shooting? She's shooting at something, but what is she shooting? Is there maybe somebody in the guard tower or something? I thought that. No, I thought we could call a horse here, but that's not
I fell off my
possible.
horse.
Don't fall off your horse.
Oh, there is. There was a tree here. Oops.
Hey, look! I found a horse.
Oh,
Whoa!
my horse is on fire.
Whoa! I also fell off a horse. What the hell?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not that easy.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue to our objective, shall we?
Okay.
I thought maybe indeed we could take a horse and we'd be quicker, but you know, it's only 370 meters away, so it should be okay. Do you have any kind of sniper, or what do you carrying? What are you packing?
I have a flamethrower
Okay.
and 2 guns, but not a sniper. Oh, I'm going away too far. Okay.
Yeah, you can. If you could jump down, you can actually use a parachute. Where are you actually?
I see a few blue dots, but I'm not sure which one you are. I think the one near Guapo, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Let me run towards you.
Oh yeah, you're that one. Okay, cool. Direct amigo. How do you? Oh, okay. That's how I can steer Guapo.
Yeah, with G you can do that.
Yeah.
And you can also have him, if you press it twice on an enemy, Guapo will attack the enemy.
Yes. Correct. Yeah, that's part of the first mission, right? It's like a tutorial. Oh, see, it's becoming evening now, or night even. You can see the stars. All right.
Okay, so we're getting closer.
Yeah, we're on a nice cliff here, so we got a nice overview. Then we take out our phone. Let's see if we can tag some enemies if they're here. See a lot of things. There's some uranium there. This is hard to believe.
So we can use a parachute, right? How does that work?
If you jump off a cliff and then you need to press Alt F4. No. So you need to press spacebar.
Then I need to pull your power plug.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So which button is it?
Just jumping off a cliff. So you first need to be in the air and then spacebar.
What is V, by the way? Can I?
Wow, that pull.
Whoa! What is that?
What?
Oh, I'm already falling off the cliff.
Okay. Oh, that's your Supremo that you fired, apparently.
Okay. Whee! Okay, just space.
Yes. I didn't see any enemies, by the way, so it's supposedly it's a walk in the park.
Yeah, I did get a warning that I was entering some kind of restricted area.
Yeah, indeed. So, because of course this is a restricted area, but you would expect that there are some Oh, there is one. Right.
Careful, Danny.
Right. There's another one there. So they were hiding. Headshots usually deal with them quite quickly, by the way. And then you have some intel that you can take in. So get some more intel. Oh, that's also a truck that can rat us out. There's always some kind of documents here. Oh, you've actually gotten the uranium.
Yes.
I also got it immediately. That's nice. You can refill ammo here.
So how do we destroy this thing?
Yeah, it's quite easy actually. Wait. Oh, okay. I thought I had C4 or something, but apparently I don't. So dynamite will have to do.
Molotov, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if that works, but probably dynamite will do the trick.
Yeah, dynamite. Oh, boom.
Hello.
Yeah, that one's broken.
Yep, airspace cleared. So that you can also progressively clear the airspace. Now we could potentially go through this safely.
But unfortunately, we have to end it here.
Yes. Oh.
So
there's somebody on a horse here.
I can draw our last winner, our very special winner.
What?
Because our last winner will get the collector's edition. Maybe we can show it again.
Yes. Give me a minute. Wait, what? What? Wait, it's not opening in the right thing. Yes, finally.
Okay.
Indeed, so the collector's edition with
the one and only
flamethrower. Oh, come on.
Something.
Yes, with the flamethrower. And all the nice extras like stickers, a little chorizo, the little dog, keychain. You got a CD there, what I think with the OST, the soundtrack, all the music indeed that you could hear. You have a map of Yara, so the whole island that you're playing on. You've got, of course, the base game. You've got the season pass with 3 DLCs and more. You got the ultimate pack, so basically everything, all the content that you can get in the game. Really, really cool. Collector's box, art book, A4 format, 64 pages, set of 10 stickers. The tostador, which is the flamethrower replica indeed, so that's that's the thing you can see in the middle. Montage instructions, 1 page. Exclusive steelbook. Not quite sure what that is, which one that is, but yeah, steelbook. Selected game soundtrack, so that's the OST indeed, so it's the CD you see, and the chorizo keychain hanger. So yeah, really, really cool.
I have our winner.
You have our winner. Wow. Okay. Well,
congratulations to do.
To do.
To do.
To do.
Toodo. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You won the collector's edition
wow.
of Far Cry 6.
So this indeed is a physical package. So yeah, we'll contact you as soon as possible, and we'll have to ask you, of course, some of your physical details so we can actually physically ship it to you. But yeah, this is coming your way. That's really cool, man. Yeah,
I hope you enjoy
have fun with it. Yeah, enjoy it. I hope you have fun with it. Massive thanks again to Ubisoft for joining and providing all the goodies like the collector's edition that we just gave away, but also the extra codes of the game that we were able to give away today. And I think in the upcoming streams we'll have some more codes to give away as well for the game. So yeah, you'll have plenty of opportunity to win a copy of the game. But to be honest, yeah, you could already see it, and I've been playing it a bit for the past few days. It's a really nice game. You really get lost in it, in the story, and you just want to, just that next mission to get that one step further and see what happens in the story.
And you can get on a moonwalking horse.
Yeah. I mean, what else do you want? But yeah, we saw a lot of the goodies, and yeah, also with even technically the game is really good. Yeah, pretty much no bugs that I could see. The gameplay is enjoyable. It's just all around a really enjoyable, really nice, well-made game. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys, I mean, it was a bit of a mixed bag of things that we've shown. We've shown the game, of course. We had the interview with Ubisoft. We had the RGB part, which we tried, and we showed you guys. The Ambient Link. We had the graphics card, the RX 6600. So it was quite a lot to cover. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Next week, we're going to be talking about one of our latest additions to the MSI product lineup, which is SSDs, or Spatium SSDs, or Spatium. I think you can also call it that. And yeah, basically, we're going to be highlighting all the speed that you pretty much can need. Because yeah, this goes all the way from PCIe Gen 3 or M.2 Gen 3 basically to the at the moment latest and fastest Gen 4 SSDs.
And those are fast.
And those are fast, and those have dedicated cooling as well. So we're going to show you all about that and talk about what kind of SSDs you need, how you can get the most benefit from them, and what you can expect from the MSI lineup. Because again, we just pretty much started with this, so it's a new product category, but it's going to be interesting if you want to know more about that. So thank you very much for joining, guys, and hope to see you guys next week.
Yeah, same place, same time. See you then.
All right, see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.